Hello again, friends. I'm back, baby. I am back, and I have missed this more than you can imagine. Oh my gosh, we are back, my friends. Remember about 3 months ago, on the Monday after Jake Paul defeating Platinum Perry? Doesn't that feel like 10 years ago? Well, it was just 3 months ago. Remember, I was signing off from our old New York City studio, and I said, I don't know when I'll be back in the studio, but trust me, whenever I come back, we're going to level up. It has been a very long 3 months. I went to the Olympics. I came back. There's a bunch of new champions. We built a whole new set. We've amassed an incredible team. We've launched a website. We've partnered with Yahoo Sports. And now we are finally back. And I know you've missed us, and we have missed you even more, but I can't fully describe, fully explain just how excited I am to be back, sitting in a chair like this, next to a desk like this, in front of all these little toys that have come with me a very long way, and some have come back home. More on that in a moment. I can't even tell you how excited I am to be back on a Monday afternoon, a Thanksgiving Monday, no less. Happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends out there. Sitting here, talking combat sports, talking MMA with all of you. This is very exciting. This is a dream come true. We've got a lot to get to, a lot to explain, a lot to go over, a lot to run down, a lot to digest. But know this. This, my friends, is the beginning of the Ariel Helwani Show era. An era that I have been dreaming of for a very, very long time. But it's not only the beginning of the Ariel Helwani Show era. It is the beginning of the Boys in the Back era. It is the beginning of the crack era. It is the beginning of the Helwani Vision era. It is the beginning of the Ariel and Ade Show era. It is the beginning of watch parties and post shows and all kinds of fun things. It is the beginning, my friends, of the Uncrowned era.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, October 14th, 2024. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. I know I am, and I am so happy to welcome you inside our brand new New York City studio on a lovely, lovely, lovely Monday afternoon here in the Big Apple. Look at that. That's a real window. You'll see birds, you'll see planes, you'll see rain and snow, and yes, look at our studio. Show it off, Andy. Show it off to the world. Yeah, know yourself. It's a brand new New York City studio. And yes, you may be saying to yourself, this looks a little bit familiar. And yes, you are in fact correct. And you know why? No, we didn't take the old studio with us. When we were going over the plans, and this all began quite some time ago, I kept explaining what I wanted. And everyone was like, you're explaining the old set, the set that made you go back to the MMA Hour, the set that you had been dreaming of when you were at ESPN, the set that you always said you loved the most, the set that made you feel at home at your best. And so, yes, we took a little of this, a little of that, but with the help of our new friends here at Yahoo, with the help of the great team over at ShowFab, thank you very much to them, the great lighting team as well that helped us put this all together over the last few weeks. We have built this brand new studio, and there's some new trinkets, and there's some new settings, and there's some new looks, and I am just so freaking happy to be here with all of you on a Monday afternoon. And it's so wild because when we got here, and we've done some Part in Our Dust shows, and we did that show in Las Vegas. When we got here and moved all our stuff over from the old set, and thank you so much one more time to Vox and to Spotify for an amazing 3 years. The birth of the independent Helwani era was a great one, but now we are a fully formed baby, and we have taken one giant step towards independence, but now doing it as owners, as leaders, in partnership with our new friends here at Yahoo. And it was so crazy when we were bringing our stuff over, when we were packing up all the stuff. They're all here. Everyone's like, oh, where's this one? They're all here. DC's here, Chael's here, Casey O'Neill's here, Virna Janjiroba's here, Jesse Jess is here. Man of my word, man of my word. I was like, man, you know what? This address is familiar. There's something familiar about this lobby. there's something familiar about this elevator. I feel like I've been here before. And then I went deep into the archives. Then I went into my email, and holy smokes. Would you believe it? This address, this floor wasn't just familiar. I actually resided here for quite some time. I worked here. I called this home. And I didn't just call it home. You'll recall, the OG fans will recall, back in May of 2009, I was walking up and down the AOL offices, AOL fan house to be exact, and I saw a little room that had a little board and a camera and a couple of chairs, and I was like, I could do a show that's on video too, just like my hero, Howard Stern. I could do a version of that. And in June of 2009, we launched a show which for 3 episodes was known as Fight House Radio. Remember that? And then after 3 episodes, because of a whole trademarking issue, we had to change it to the MMA Hour, which initially was only supposed to be 15 minutes. And then it was an hour. And then it was 90 minutes. And then it was 2 hours. And on it went. That show happened in this building. That show was born in this building. That show aired not only from this building, from this floor, I kid you not. AOL was the home of that show. And then it was bought by Vox Media. And then I took it to ESPN, and then I came back to Vox, and then we came here for this new deal with Yahoo. A few years back, Yahoo bought AOL, took over this office. This floor, this building, the show started. Is that not wild? 15 years ago? 15 years ago. You know the famous Alistair Overy moment? Birthday King, balloon, hat? That moment? That happened here. That may have happened exactly in this spot. Life is a weird, weird thing. And by the way, happy birthday to my wife's Nana, who turns 100 today. What a day. My family's in Montreal. I'm here doing this because I love you all so much. Turns 100. We should also be so lucky. So happy birthday to her. Mazel tov. Happy Thanksgiving. Anyway, we're back. But in reality, this isn't 15 years in the making. This is truly 23 years in the making, because when I was a student in September of 2001 at Syracuse University, and I told my parents, everyone's going this way, I want to go that way. Everyone's talking about basketball and baseball and football here. I want to talk about fighting. And I launched a show at WERW in the bowels of the Shine Auditorium at Syracuse University. There may be some students out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. I started a show called The Main Event. It was called The Main Event. And what did I do on that show? I talked a little bit, and I interviewed fighters, fighting personalities. Bruce Buffer, I've said famously, my first guest. Dave Meltzer was on. Dan Severn was on. Don Fry was on. Bobby the Brain Heenan was on. Tommy Dreamer was on. And on it went. That is the exact show, the exact format, 23 years later that we're doing now. But now, finally, it's called the Ariel Helwani Show. And I always felt like I didn't earn the right to call my show. Everyone has a show with their name on it. I didn't feel like I earned that right. Not like Howard Stern, not like Dan Le Batard, not like Bill Simmons, not like Rich Eisen, not like Pat McAfee, not like Dan Patrick, people that I looked up to. I didn't get there yet. ESPN, I wasn't quite there. After ESPN, I wasn't quite there. I'm here now, and I think everyone knows exactly what this is. And when I left and was figuring out what I was going to do with my agent, who has been so incredible throughout this process for the past year, spent hours upon hours upon hours. Thank you so much, Jerry, for all the guidance and support. We dreamed of this, owning the show, bringing the show back to the YouTube channel that I started in 2009 with Jerry Park. That's where you can get this show each and every day. The Ariel Helwani Show podcast feed, which perhaps you're listening to right now. By the way, do me a favor. Give us a sub. Give us a like. Hit the bell notification. Do all the things that you do. It helps us out a lot. But we said we want to own, but we want to partner with a great brand. We want to partner with a great institution. And so we found the good people at Yahoo Sports. And so now we're in partnership. It's no longer the employee days. We're in partnership, ownership, executiveship, all that stuff and more. And so we have launched the Ariel Helwani Show, which now you can get, and it's the same old show, same old format, in a very similar studio, but better. You can get it Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. But it ain't just that. It ain't, and it's the same length, by the way. No. We're giving you something Monday through Friday. We're giving you something Monday through Friday. Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's the boys in the back. More on them in a moment. Fridays. Look at that beautiful lineup. Shout out to Spencer, the king. The Crack. 1 p.m. Eastern with Pete Carroll, live from the epicenter of all things European MMA, Blanchardstown. In addition to that, watch parties for all the major events, post shows after all the major events. Beginning next Tuesday, in partnership with DAZN, Ariel and Ade, 5 p.m. Eastern, from this studio with my friend Adeola. Another new entity, there it is, launching next Tuesday, 8 days from now. And in addition to that, Helwani Vision just announced. Think Manningcast. Alternate commentary, alternate feed. Myself, the boys, the crew, this Saturday, October 19th, Riyadh, PFL, Battle of the Giants, Francis Ngannou against Renan Ferreira. You buy the pay-per-view exclusively on DAZN, not at ESPN Plus, only on DAZN. And much love to ESPN. We love them. But this particular one is with my friends at DAZN. We're open for business. You buy the pay-per-view, you can either do the official broadcast, great, or you could come hang with myself, the boys, Chael, Tyron Woodley, Megan Anderson, Tim Welch. Jake Paul going to join us. Rob Gronkowski going to join us. Incredible. Incredible. That's this Saturday, by the way, at 4 p.m. Eastern. All these things launching. And oh, by the way, what made me really want to do all of this, it wasn't just about the shows. It wasn't about the pods only. It wasn't about the YouTube. It wasn't about the ownership. I wanted to bring journalism back to the fight game. Proper journalism, good storytelling. And so I called my old friend Shaheen Al-Shadi, who I've known for so long, and I said, you're going to be the man here. You're going to be the editor-in-chief. You're going to lead the way. And over the last couple of months, we have talked for many, many hours about who we want to create a team with, a .com, if you will. And we did it, just like Jerry Colangelo did back in 1992 when the Dream Team was assembled. We launched Uncrowned.com today. New home of all things combat sports. And what an all-star team we have. It's live right now. Go to uncrowned.com right now. Again, in partnership with Yahoo Sports. What is Uncrowned? Uncrowned is the home of all of this. It's the hub, if you will. It's our ringer. It's our MMA fighting. Do you get it? It's the home for all the things that we are doing. It's our destination. It's what we've been dreaming about for so long. And so you got the website, you got incredible journalism. We have stories up there right now from the Man in the Hat, Chuck Mendenhall. What a feature on Francis Ngannou. Incredible stuff. Cameron Haynes, a great story on Trick Williams. My old friend from the MMArated.com days, Ben Folks, with an amazing story on BKFC's Wild Night in Marbella, Spain. And in my opinion, the best boxing writer in the business, Keith Idek, with a great story on the aftermath of Beterbiev Bivol in Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about that in a moment. That's live right now. So to recap, a new website, incredible journalism, features galore to come, a whole new slate of shows each and every day, Monday through Friday, plus the weekend special features, Helwani Vision, Ariel and Ade, watch parties, post shows, on it goes. And you know that we had to start today's program off with a bang. You know that we had to come out with a super stacked Monday lineup because that's how we do. Y'all call it super stacked. I just call it Monday. And so who is joining us on today's program? Well, I thought it would be fitting that our very first guest in the history of the program would be Le Prédateur, Francis Ngannou, who has been the story in combat sports in many respects, not just MMA, but in boxing as well over the last couple of years. Free agency, the Fury fight, the AJ fight, the PFL deal, and now, of course, the return to MMA on Saturday, October 19th. Francis Ngannou, Le Prédateur, joining us live at 1:45 from Riyadh, site of the Battle of the Giants pay-per-view. Following that interview, we'll be joined by Iron Mike Chandler, the man who will be fighting Charles Oliveira for the second time in a little over a month's time, right here in New York City. Iron Mike is going to join us, not Conor McGregor. It's Charles Oliveira 2 du Bronx, a rematch of a fight that happened a little over 2 years ago for the belt. Chandler deciding it's time to move on. What about Sugar Sean O'Malley? He'll join us at around 3 o'clock. Talk about the loss to Merab the subsequent surgery. Where he goes from here, what went wrong. His first interview, by the way, since the Sphere card, Noche UFC. Sugar Sean O'Malley joining us at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, we've got another whole host of guests, a massive lineup, but we're not done today. Julianna Peña, a member of the Parlay Pals. The first member of the Parlay Pals to fight in a UFC title fight, to win a UFC title. She did so about 9 days ago in Salt Lake City. She will, of course, join us. And then we end things off with the pride of England, the pride of Manchester, the pride of Wigan, Tommy Aspinall, the real heavyweight champion. And so, of course, you hear that music. You hear that music playing. And what does that mean? That could only mean one thing. That means that mysterious Frank has joined the party. Frank?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, Frankie's in the house. And you brought your trinkets too, right?
I brought them all.
Which ones?
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Did you bring any breaking news? Did you bring Jasmine?
Jazz Division.
Yeah. Did you bring when Jasmine gets upset?
Shut up, Goose. Suck it, man.
It's like a warm blanket. What about Cheeto? Did you bring Cheeto?
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Yeah, no, yes. What about Rampage? Did you bring Rampage?
I'm alpha.
Yeah. Oh, my God, Frankie. It's so good to hear from you and your friends.
Thank you.
And remember what I said, Frankie, when you guys doubted me, when we used to meet after the show, I said, guys, don't worry, I got you. Guys, you're coming with. Don't worry. Everyone was worrying, talking behind my back. Yeah, they were worrying. This guy, I don't know. I don't know if I trust him. I don't know if I believe him. And what did I do? What did I do when I was in Paris, Frankie? I called you all up and I said, are you ready? Like Warren G once said, what did I say? Regulators, mount up.
That's exactly what you said.
And here we
looking
are.
back.
And here we are. The boys are with me. Let's get a good look at the boys back there in their new spot. There they are. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, the boys are back in town.
Someone play. Do we have the rights to that?
Yeah.
Someone sing it, Frank. Can you
Frank,
just sing it for
hit
us?
that?
The boys are back in town?
Yeah. You got
The
it.
boys are back in town. What's up, guys? Looking great.
Yeah, looking
Thank
really
you.
good
Yeah.
back here.
Excited. New era.
Man.
baby.
Though we didn't doubt you. I don't know why.
Nah, there's a couple.
No,
heard
I mean, I
Maybe
did it.
Frank
I
did.
heard some Snickers.
Yeah.
Man, you guys look great. You got that setup back there, GC. You got the pictures. We got the Georgia.
And purposely encroaching the BMF belt onto Rick's territory. So
He's
that gets all the
forcing it.
shine.
Yeah.
Got to put the silver out there, man. Got to respect it.
New graphics here. A beautiful photo of one Max Holloway, who of course defends his title. I think he defends it. I'm not even sure if that's been cleared up yet, but he's fighting for the featherweight title. That courtesy of our good friend Cooper Neal.
Shout out, man.
Yeah.
Said I looked terrible in Atlanta, and I needed
well, you know, he
some
was
stuff to put up.
He said what we were all with.
But look at these lower thirds too.
Yeah,
This is pretty great. The boys in the back. It's Thursday at 1 p.m.
You and Rick, everyone asked for it. They
Rick.
said, we need this show. We need this show. You guys are getting your show on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a beautiful thing. Look how clear you look. Oh, you know yourself. By the way, how's the stream looking? Is it looking good?
Yeah, it's looking
Yeah, we're golden, baby.
Oh, look at this.
excellent health.
No problem, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is great. And Rick now stepping up, no longer just a they said you were just a social media guy.
That's all he
That's what they
was.
said.
I don't know about
Some
that.
loser social media guy.
That's what they said. And I said, hell no. They said, oh, which executive could we get to run this show? I said, we got him.
Who said this?
People said it. People said it. Who should we hire? Which big name? I said, we got him. Just put another zero on that check.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? All
Big
right.
Cheddar makes it better.
Yeah. Oh, we've come a long way
Happy
from
to
those
be here.
days. Yeah. And with that in mind, I wanted to read this email that New York Rick sent me.
No,
back in
we're not going to do that on show one. Let's move
day two
that back in,
that's
in
day
the programming.
two.
Yeah.
That is day two. In addition to the boys, you can't hear them, but Andy is back. Familiar Andy running the show. We oh, look at this shot. I didn't know this was a shot. Holy smokes. Andy looking great back there. And joining her to the left is an old friend from my ESPN days, On Air Jordan. Look at him rocking the Yankees hat. He's
I
a
was
Jets
wondering
fan.
if you were going to say On Air Jordan or
No.
what'd you come up with? Long Island Jordan?
Listen, I threw it out. No one liked it. I moved on.
Is
Long
Familiar
Beach
Andy
Cam's
her
hat.
nickname now?
Long Beach Cam's and the LBK.
Nah, we don't like it.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's pretty much the
That was the response.
that's pretty much the response that I got. He's rocking the Yankees hat. We won't hold the fact that he is a Jets fan against him. Big day. What a day to launch a show. Bills coming to town, MetLife Stadium. I mean, look at this set. We got the Bills stuff here. We got Josh Allen down there. Look at that. It's an amazing thing. And anytime you do something like this, anytime you take a big step, you want to try to level up. Did I mention this is a new? Like, this is an actual window right here. Like, you'll see if it's raining. You'll see when the sun is setting in the winter. You'll see it. It's crazy. Anyway, I felt like we needed a little. I felt like we needed a little oomph. I felt like we needed a shot of adrenaline. I felt like we needed a shot of Irish whiskey. And so we have expanded the team. It's not just everyone that you've just seen or heard from. Now, a member of the team, part of the fabric of the team, and boy, did we have to drag him. He didn't want to come for whatever reason. He was kicking and screaming. He's a man of customs and of just kind of familiarities. He didn't know if this show was big enough for him. But we finally cut the deal. We finally signed him, and he'll be contributing not only to Uncrowned.com, but he'll have his own show right here on this YouTube channel. It's called The Crack. You may have heard of him. He is sometime the patron saint, sometime the bearded saint of the Emerald Isle. He is the host of the critically acclaimed podcast, The Crack. There he is. Petey's here too. You know yourself, Petey. Welcome to the team, Petey. Well done.
What a time to be alive, boys. It's an interesting feeling, you know. Like, I understand you're excited about having us here, but you seem to be more excited about this window than anything else. You just keep coming back to the window, and it's going to make me feel a bit bad about the situation. I thought, I'd get a bigger intro of anything.
He keeps explaining the window exactly how windows work.
No, it's like a real.
You're going to be able to see stuff out there.
Because everyone would, because the likes of Chael would come in here and be like, "Is this real? Is this in a basement?" No, it's a real window.
Yeah, it's a big upgrade.
When it becomes nighttime, it will be dark out
yes.
there.
Yeah,
I mean,
you'll see the
amazing.
sunset. That actually is true.
And you can actually see right there. There is the Empire State Building.
That's right.
The middle of it.
EBS.
There it is.
Shout out.
And at night it glows and it lights up. And if a sports team does something in particular, like in around 8 months' time when the Knicks win the championship, it's going to be orange and blue. It's going to be
so
orange
now we've
and
got
blue skies.
how windows work and how the Empire State Building programming works.
made that jump.
We've knocked those off.
Look at
Really
this.
upgraded.
Look at this. I mean, isn't this beautiful? Everything's working. The audio's working. The streaming's working.
Yeah. Camera looks good.
It is legit 4 hours of squeaky bum time to just get us to the end of the show like that. Everything.
Nah, just don't talk about it. Don't think about it.
How long until the window gets its own show? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
The window in the back.
It's encroaching on our territory.
How do you guys feel, though? Can I get some thoughts? Can I get some feelings? How do you guys feel on this
I feel
launch
like
day?
Petey's got to go first. We kind of have
Oh,
a
wow.
moment.
Okay,
Petey,
all right. Petey,
please.
go ahead.
I kind of feel like the new kid at school, I'm coming in. I'm kind of worried. There's these bullies all around me, like, GC. Frank there. Frank is, in fact, the biggest bully. He's painted as a sweetheart. He is a cruel guy, and he rules this place with an iron fist. So intimidated, but I feel I can find my way.
I have to push back against this because I feel like in Vegas, nobody came in hotter than you. Like, you were just throwing your weight around all over the place, like to the point that you were making me uncomfortable. But I still love you.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, he was intense. It's a different type of buzz when you're around Pete in Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, it is important to note a lot of people were confused. A lot of people thought that was going to be the show in front of a live audience at a sports book. No, that's a fun thing that we will do more of. And shout out to the Yahoo Sportsbook in the Venetian for hosting us. Perhaps we'll be back in the near future. I hear there's a big wrestling event happening in Las Vegas in about 6 months' time. So perhaps we'll be there for that and many other things. These are the opportunities that are afforded to us now due to this great partnership with Yahoo that I'm so excited about. So I know some people were confused. They thought that was going to be the show. Then they thought the Ariel and Ade show was going to be in front of a press conference audience. It was tough. It was tough to get people to understand, but hopefully now you understand that this is what we are, that it's just the same old thing, but better.
We're back, baby.
We're back. And so in about 20 minutes time, we're going to be joined by Francis and really kick things off. I know people have missed the interviews, but we are coming off, guys, a very busy weekend in combat sports, highlighted by what happened in Riyadh, which has become, in many respects, the epicenter there goes my Dan Hooker because I banged on the desk. My my skateboard. It has become the epicenter of boxing and MMA coming up. And certain Conor McGregor even talked about it at the BKFC event. We had boxing in Riyadh. We had BKFC in a freaking bull ring in Marbella, and of course we had the UFC at the Apex. Some things never changed, but we did find out finally who is going to headline UFC Apex 100, which is a huge bit of news.
Oh my God, that
made
my week.
freaking.
Yeah. Neil Magny couldn't ask for more than that. I mean, Neil Magny was built to headline UFC Apex 100.
Neil Magny's on there. We also found out that UFC 310 is going to be headlined by Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. More on that in a moment. Co-main event is a really interesting one and somewhat surprising as well. Kaya Sakura becoming one of the very few fighters in the modern era to fight for a belt in his promotional debut, going up against Alexandre Pantoja for the flyweight title. This all goes down December 7th in Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. So for now, things are okay between Dana White and MGM. But that is a really interesting two-pack of title fights. Not only that, the official confirmation that Nick Diaz is in fact going to fight Vicente Luque on the card. We also found out that Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov is on that card, and on it goes. But let's go to the boxing for a moment, because Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol was such an important fight. The first time in the four-belt era that we would get a unified light heavyweight champion. These two guys have been talking about each other. These two guys have been flirting. These two guys have been circling each other, but they never had an opportunity to fight because of the finances. And here comes Turki Al-Sheikh, and he says, no, we're going to do it for the opening of Riyadh season, which I don't even know when it opens or when it ends, but this is the official opening of it. And what a card it was. And what a fight it was. And ultimately, it was won by one Artur Beterbiev. Now, I love the fight, and I thought it lived up to the hype. I saw some people who said it didn't live up to the hype. And ultimately, I thought Dmitry Bivol won the fight. I don't think this takes away. The story should be, A, that the fight happened, because for years, we thought that it wasn't going to happen. And then we thought it was going to happen in May, and Beterbiev injured his knee. But now we got it. And I asked someone afterwards who's in the know, is there a rematch clause? And they said the rematch clause is Turki Al-Sheikh. And so if he wants to make it happen, he will make it happen. And Keith Idek wrote a story about this, how it has to happen, and it has to happen next year. PT, I know you were locked in. Mm-hmm. Bivol Beterbiev, A, did it live up to the hype? And B, who did you score it for?
I thought the fight was absolutely outstanding. I was gripped by the whole thing. There was ebbs and flows. I scored for Beterbiev by 1 round, 115 to 113. But there was incredibly close rounds. And I don't know for sure. I think round 3 and round 7 could have went either way. I know Maddox had them different on the broadcast. To the point where, they were so close when they were reading out the decision. I was like, this is going to Bivol. This is going to be the Bivol's fight. But I thought it was very close. I think that scorecard, the 4 rounds for Beterbiev, is very hard to justify. And I think, you heard Eddie Hearn talking afterwards about, the celebration in the corner. We had, Ramazan Kadyrov making an appearance on the broadcast, which was crazy. You can understand why people would see something like that and get up in arms. Like, in terms of the winner being Beterbiev, I don't think it's a robbery. I think that scorecard is very questionable, but that fight really could have went either way as far as I was concerned.
I agree. I had it 2 rounds in favor of Bivol in the end, so 7-5. Which I believe is 115, 113. The 116 to 112 for Beterbiev is crazy. Everything else is super close. When it comes down to 1 or 2 rounds, that's not a robbery. We've said this time and again. I understand why Eddie is upset. They were talking on the broadcast. Look at this audio. Look at this audio of them telling Beterbiev in the 11th and 12th rounds, like or going into them, that you've got to knock him out. Isn't that an indication? No, that's just good corner work, I think. Like, that's not an indication that they thought he was losing or they disagree with the scorecards. That just means, hey, it's coming down to the judges, and if we want to be safe here, let's go for a knockout. Let's just step on the gas a little bit. So that's not a gotcha moment like I think it was being presented. Rick, how did you score it?
I have to be honest, we were watching it here together in the studio.
Yes.
And I wasn't exactly locked in on the scoring of it. I did think Bivol was ahead when we got to the 11th and 12th. I thought that Beterbiev was going to have to win those rounds, but it turns out he was already in good shape. I guess I had it even, but I
Even's totally fine, by the way. 114, 114, totally fine.
I will say I was not I wasn't watching as closely as I could have, but it felt like a much closer fight than the scorecards that I heard is what I'll say.
He was not locked in. He was watching his Ring notification app.
Oh my God! It just never stops.
I mean,
notifications are on.
We were sitting shoulder to shoulder watching
Listen,
it. I was just like, what just happened? A squirrel just passed by in Long Island? I mean, we really need to watch this. Fight of the year is on right now, Rick. Give me a break, man.
If phones have notifications enabled, what is the point of turning them off? That is the whole point of having notifications.
No, it's more like common consideration.
Yes, just because you offer it doesn't mean I have to take it.
No, I need it. Otherwise, don't have it.
Yeah,
don't make it a function if you don't need it.
Did you score it?
All notifications.
Yes,
Connor.
I had it 6-6. I was actually saying to Rick going into the
Wow.
final round, I was like, I think if Beterbiev wins this round, we might be looking at a draw. And then the first scorecard ended up being a draw. And then when I heard 116, 112, I was just like, this is Bivol. I threw a bet in on Beterbiev just because he was the dog right before the fight started. And like when I heard 116, 112, I was like, I think this one's going to Bivol. I mean, they were very close rounds. I felt like it was kind of like a game of runs. Like it was like first 3 rounds were Bivol, next 3 were Beterbiev, and they kind of like went back and forth, but very close rounds, especially in those later rounds. So like I'm not calling robbery, and I just want to see a rematch.
Got to do a rematch. I know there are people out there. There's nothing bigger than this. Now the rematch is even bigger. Supremely uncomfortable watching Bivol's ex-wife be so happy. Now, I know there's a lot there, but wow, I didn't realize she was doing like a live stream of it. And I think watching a dodgy stream as well, which is like super.
Yeah, we're not going to say names around here, but she was definitely on a.
Which is just like.
She wasn't
going
on the
full on. Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah, you can't put money in his
love
pocket.
it. That's next level hating. I respect the game.
Yes.
I respect it.
And who knows what really went on there, but that was wild to watch. Bivol handled it like a pro afterwards. You know, obviously so did Beterbiev. And obviously Eddie Hearn, as you said, GC, very, very upset. Just a great fight that lived up to the hype. And really the whole card I thought was very entertaining. I was watching it in a very uncomfortable state as I was fasting for Yom Kippur, and technically probably shouldn't have been watching, but you know, the job is the job. Yes. I know people get upset about the concerts, and I say, yes, I understand. You're buying a pay-per-view. You want to just get on with it. I think what made it worse was the fact that Fabio Wardley knocked out Fraser Clark in one of the most vicious knockouts that you'll ever see, and he did so in the first round. And so as a result of that, just the way things were timed out, they had to fill for an hour, and then they had to go to the concert. If, in fact, that fight would have gone the distance, just like their first fight did back in March, it wouldn't have felt as drawn out. And I think the concert, which was fine, Ciara and Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott was entertaining for what it was, would have been a little bit more digestible. But that knockout was scary as hell. Wardley came out there and just starched Clark. Got hit in his own right, but the final blows led to a like indentation in Wardley's head, in Clark's head, and his mouth very clearly, like the jaw was very clearly realigned. Scary, scary stuff. I understand he had surgery. I know Gareth saw him at the airport. Gareth A. Davies talked to him. His jaw was wired shut. Just vicious stuff. It's everywhere. It's on my social feed as well. If you didn't see it, very, 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 very scary power and a very scary knockout, and I wish the best to Fraser Clark. Prior to that, we had Chris Eubank getting back on track, finally getting a win. Everyone thought he was going to win, but the big story, of course, was the aftermath. Conor Benn just walks right into the ring, and they have a face-off, and you can hear them, and it gets a little testy. And you can hear Eubank say, like, let's do a face-off, let's do a face-off. To me, it felt from the moment Ben got to Saudi Arabia, and you're seeing them, Ben rocking the leather jacket and the slick back hair, looking like a character out of The Bronx Tale or something like that. It seemed like there's already a deal in place. Look at Neymar in the back there as well. Right? I mean,
I was gonna say,
just chilling.
Conor Benn looks wild, and then Neymar is just in the back. Like you just get the most ridiculous.
The way they were pushing this so hard made me feel like there's something already in place, and even Turki Al-Sheikh saying, "I want that fight in February," makes me feel like they've given up on the British Boxing Board of Control sanctioning Conor Benn for the foreseeable future and just moving this fight, which shouldn't happen in any other place but the UK because of the history there with Nigel Benn and Chris Eubanks Sr., their fathers, but they're moving on. And I think, and people got mad at me on Saturday for saying this, like, it's time to move on. The guy has paid his dues. It's been 2 years. I've talked to multiple of the best commissioners in the United States who have all told me, yes, we have no problem with him. He should be allowed to fight here or elsewhere. But for whatever reason, I feel like there's a bit of an axe to grind here with Ben for maybe the fact that he wasn't apologetic, he wasn't contrite. I don't know what it is, and they're not doing it. And so it looks like that fight is going to happen. It certainly seemed like they were pushing it. And I couldn't help but think of one thing and one thing only. What is New York Rick doing as he's seeing this face-off in the middle of the ring? Is he freaking out? Has he restored his excitement and faith in this being the biggest fight of all time?
We got a little teaser right earlier in the week with some video that came out. But once they were standing in the ring, I let it wash over me. It was like manna from the heavens. It was just coming down, and it was engulfing me. I love this fight. I will never stop believing that this fight is going to happen and never stop believing that it could be one of the biggest fights in boxing.
You're still your number one fight across all sports, your dream fight.
Yes.
This bit is still going.
It's not a bit.
Like, this
Think of the story. Think of the storyline here. The fathers had the rivalry.
I know, but
now they have the
one
rivalry.
dude who fights at 168, another guy at 147. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that.
It makes no sense.
I don't care about that.
It is a great story, and if told correctly, it will be beautiful. But, I mean, you could see it in the face-off. There's a massive size difference, and one guy was fighting and the other guy wasn't, and there was still a size difference.
Yeah, that's okay. Not worried.
It probably has to happen at like 160 or something like that, because did you see the video of Eubank cutting weight?
But I was going to say, man, I don't know how close we're going to get Eubank down to where Conor Benn is at. It's going to have to be Conor just gaining some weight to go up.
But you love this. You love everything about it.
There's too much drama. There's too much actual animosity. It is exactly what you want from a fight, whether it be boxing, MMA, whatever the discipline is. This is the level of animosity. This is the level of actual build that you crave. This is all we ask for. There's nothing manufactured here.
Okay, what about the fact that it would probably happen in Riyadh?
That part, I mean, man, that sours it a bit. If this was happening in the UK, yeah, I mean, next level.
Man,
I'll take it in Saudi. If the only way it gets made is it's going to happen in Saudi, I take it.
Jai Opetaia wins. If Chris Bilm-Smith wins next month at the Latino night, I'd love to see that fight, cruiserweight title, to crown the best cruiserweight in the world. Jai Opetaia. One of us was talking mad shit about him while watching the fight, and no, I'm not saying names, but one was talking shit. I believe one of these people referred to the cruiserweight division in boxing as, what was it, the women's featherweight division in MMA? No, what? I don't know who's laughing. I can't tell. The mics all sound the same, but
it's PC, man.
Okay, it was PT. Okay, yeah.
I was just laughing at the notion of someone saying something so ridiculous, It's crazy. I'll tell you what it is, right? When you're texting Ariel and you text him something and he comes back really violently at you, you know you've got him. And then you just keep on pouring fuel on the fire. So I just kept on making up silly things to do with the Cruiserweight division. I was like, it's kind of like becoming the Cage Warriors champion before you get to the UFC, isn't it?
Sure,
he was like, he was freaking out. That's how I enjoy myself. I apologize. But what a performance, eh? Always was a big fan of Jay.
Yeah.
Great to see him.
Yeah, Jai. Sky Nicholson does it again.
Die hard fan. Jai, whatever.
Sky, again via decision. Everyone said Raven Chapman would be her undoing.
Oh, yeah.
They
all said that.
They did. No, that was a legit.
Yeah, everyone did say that.
Everyone said that.
She was only like a minus 600 for this fight.
Everybody was saying
Listen.
Who was this everyone? He keeps on
everyone was saying.
Overcame all the odds.
Overcame them all. It was a master class. It was a master class. Was it really minus 600?
Yeah.
I thought she'd get a stoppage there.
You think every Sky Nicholson fight is going to end in a stoppage, and she has amateur and pro. She has 180 fights.
That's fine.
She has 3 stoppages.
And then we get to the weird Ben Whitaker fight where it was shades of Lex Luger and Bret Hart circa 1994 Royal Rumble. Look it up. A weird one where they both went over the ring and then they go to the scorecards and it ends in a draw because of where the judges were at that point. And some people have suggested that Ben was in trouble Ben didn't like what Liam Cameron was doing. Liam Cameron was an opponent. Look at that dude's face. Who's that? The photographer over there? He looks like he's in shock. And they just toppled over the ring. And some have suggested that Ben was looking for a way out. This is a guy who many people have said is one of the biggest prospects in UK boxing in the world as well, a silver medalist at the Olympic Games 2 Olympics ago. And this was, I mean, the last fight wasn't great. The one at Crystal Palace wasn't an amazing fight, but it was a win. And some people are saying he has to change his style. He has to be less of a showman and less Roy Jones and less Prince Nassim and just do his thing. This was a great... PT, dare you suggest that these people who are claiming that he was looking for a way out are in fact telling the truth?
No, I don't think... I didn't think about it like that. I will say, like, I believe he was actively involved in that situation. Like, he's overhooking both arms, and you can see him efforting to move back when a shot can't come at him, right? I think he's overhooking the guy's arms. So I think it's his fault they spill over like that. What happened, what the impact was, I can't speak to that, you know? It was just a very deflating end to a fight that was actually very intriguing to watch. Obviously, Whittaker is hot shit, right? Everybody's like, this guy he can be this. He can, as you said, Nassim, all this kind of stuff. The funny thing about that for me is, right, they're saying he needs to change his style. He actually didn't fight his usual style. I didn't find in that fight. So he was kind of coming out, I felt, with a chip on his shoulder, like, I'm gonna really like beat the shit out of this guy, and then everybody will know. But it worked against him completely. He was getting hit more than I've ever seen him get hit. Honestly, I'd love to see that rematch.
Has to be.
But I think it's too early to be writing this guy off. Like, he's obviously an incredible athlete. He has a different way of fighting, a very spectacular way of fighting. Obviously, the ending was pretty bad, but it only makes me want to see this fight again. So I think it actually works in his favor down the road.
Well, Liam Cameron is like a journeyman who feels like he's been disrespected, and since then, I believe Queensberry has signed him. Nice. I've seen those reports, so good for him. It's a weird thing with the UK fans, man. I feel like people in America like Ben Whittaker more than people in the UK. I think people in the UK, and I think you understand this mentality, because I feel like Irish fans say the same about certain athletes. Like, we want you to be humble. We don't want you to be crazy. We don't want you to be too cocky. We don't want the showmanship. We don't want the hot dogging. And it feels like UK fans are like, you see, we told you he wasn't to be. He was a fraud. Never was. While the American fans are like, yo, look at this guy. This guy's awesome. This guy's fun. And it felt like, I don't know, it felt like a gotcha moment for some of those naysayers as it pertains to Ben Whittaker. I think he's fun.
It's an extreme one way or the other. They're either going to be completely in love with you, and I guarantee he will get there at some point, you know. I guarantee you they'll be like, wow, who would have known this guy, you know, in a few years' time? I think he has the ability. She only have to look as far as Brennan Johnson, Ariel.
Wow.
They're all giving him the SH1-T early on, and now he's the savior of Spurs, you know?
He's one of our own. A lot of people said, by the way, that my rant on Sky Sports, lifting his spirits, changed everything, because he then scored 6 in 6 games. I mean, and that's not, he didn't score 6 in every game 6 times. He did 1 per game for 6 games straight. You get that? Like,
I thought it was actually, I thought like that was the last thing he saw before erasing the internet from his phone. I thought that was what it was.
Some have said,
like, that's all I need. Just take it away from me now.
Some have said, some have suggested. I wouldn't dare be so bold, but some have suggested. That's a great shout, by the way. Thank you for bringing that up. That's among the many things that have happened to us over the last few months since we were last in a studio doing a show. Now it just feels like old hat, right? Now it just feels like we're rolling here, like everything is good. And it's so wild going from watching that scene and Missy Elliott and Ciara. I didn't know Ciara.
She mimed the whole time, Ciara. That was
she faking it?
Let's be honest. Absolutely. Like, come on.
Was Missy?
I mean, the pain
Busta definitely wasn't. Busta wasn't.
Busta definitely wasn't. I mean, he carried himself like a gentleman up there. I thought it was fantastic. With Spliff still by his side after all these years. Incredible. You know, Ciara was bottom rung for me. Not even an effort made. Like, you know, sing. They're paying you enough money.
The combo of the first round knockout into the concert was a lot.
Oh, you mean of the Wardley knockout?
Yeah. Going into the concert.
Well, it's just an hour. If that would have gone the distance, we would've-
Yeah. Of course, I know. I'm saying the combo. of the two.
If it would have gone the distance, would you been okay with
I don't. I personally, I don't need any of the concerts.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to recreate the Super Bowl. Like they're obviously getting these massive names to perform, but with the Super Bowl, the halftime is going to happen no matter what. Whereas this, you just want to see the next fight.
Yeah.
It's just the wait. Yeah, it's like
They should have
if they
just
had a live
trotted
on the
Busta
concert-
Rhymes out there as soon as the
Yeah.
fight ended. Then we would all have been like, yeah, let's go, kill some time. Missy Elliott.
I didn't. By the way,
Missy
did
got
they
some
even
bangers.
promote the Busta Rhymes?
I knew about it. I knew about it.
I had no idea. They just showed up.
Yeah. I heard it on the broadcast, but it wasn't like the was it Liam Gallagher or Noel Gallagher? I think it was Liam.
Oh my God, man.
Fucking hell.
This is
Are you
ridiculous.
serious, Ariel?
It was Liam. It was Liam.
Yeah, they,
Yeah. Don't say it.
Okay.
You can say it. I don't care. I went to get a coffee and a guy came up to me and he said, "Oh, I'm."
He's on the phone to me, by the way. You're on the phone
Who,
to me.
me?
I'm in Italy, and Ariel's like, "Oh, hang on, someone's walking up to me here." Turns out to be like a member of Oasis or something, and Ariel's there telling him, "No, I love your stuff. I listen to it every day." And I was like, "No," I was speaking on the phone to him. I was like, "No, you don't." But incredible. Meets Oasis. They come to you as well. You
No,
don't
he
even-
said he was the bassist, and I was like, "Yo, wow, you're the guy for Oasis," and he's like, "No, just for Liam." I didn't realize it was separate. I didn't realize it was separate people, separate bands.
Who the fuck is we?
Yeah, I didn't know
There's a
that.
massive conversation at the moment. They're doing a tour. All
Yeah,
the
so what
tickets,
happens-
The band coming back together.
What happens to the guys who are with Liam? They're just out.
They're
Well,
waiting
it's
for the
just
next outing.
They're waiting for the next breakup.
And sometimes there's session musicians that are working on other albums. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's going to be an amalgam of both of them, right? They're not getting Bonehead and the guys back, are they? You know, it's
Who's
going to
that?
be just session. He was an old member of Oasis, so I don't think the actual lineup is fully being restored. But I think Noel and Liam will be back together, which is the main thing for everybody, you know.
So Sally can wait. Are we gonna get demonetized?
What the fuck is going on, bro?
It sounds exactly like the album version, yeah.
Yeah, now the bot's gonna pick it up. Yeah.
Speaking of which, you may be watching our live YouTube feed right now, and you may be seeing an influx of polls being thrown up. Shout out to everyone in the chat right now. Thank you so much. Enjoy the free commenting while you can. And yes, we do in fact have an official moderator running the YouTube feed, and yes, he is in fact the biggest troll, the biggest heel in the game, one Antoine Evans, who was once head of PR for the UFC, now joining the Helwani-verse. What a turn of events that is. So please give him a nice hello and a warm welcome. He is one of many who have joined the Uncrowned dynasty, the Uncrowned era, an incredible team of people over on the website as well. I mentioned Chuck. I almost want to mention all the names here. Let me see if I could get them, because I mentioned all the team here, an incredible group of people who work for Yahoo, Jeff and Kirsten and Tyler and Chris and Richard. And the problem when you start naming names, Frank, is that you start to forget people, right? And Matt and
Who, me?
Yeah. No, I was looking for a little bit of help there. And then the entire team, of course, the president, El Presidente, Ryan Spoon, and Sam Farber leading the way. Ben Stark, how could we forget him?
Legend.
Unbelievable, absolute legend. Shaheen Al-Shadi on the website, Chuck Mendenhall, Ben Folks, P.T. Carroll, I've heard of him. Drake Riggs coming over from our old stomping grounds to write about all things combat. Keith Idek, I mentioned. Elliot Worcel, who I think is an unbelievable combat sports writer. In fact, Ant had been talking to me about him for many, many years, and I didn't believe he was a real person. And yes, in fact, he is a real person. He is a part of the team. Cameron Hawkins. I may have said Cameron Haynes at the beginning of the show. Cameron Hawkins. Why did I say Haynes? That's a different person. We've got some surprises. We've got some members of the Yahoo team, and we've even got a young man named Darshan, who is the man who runs the Everything Boxing Twitter account. He does an incredible job. He is joining us as well, in addition to some new faces that are going to be popping up. So it's a real who's who. It's a real incredible collection of talent, and you have come to know and love and expect from all of us, in addition to the bluster, in addition to the talk, in addition to the debating, in addition to the fun. The guests. The guests are what make this show. I've always said that. And when I was trying to lay out our lineup, I had two things that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to end with one person, and I wanted to start with one person. They just so happened to be two of the baddest men on the planet. And in particular, I wanted to start with one person because, like I said at the top, he has been the story, as far as I'm concerned, in combat sports for the better part of almost 3 years now, dating back to January of 2022. And it has been such a journey, such an incredible story, a story that you couldn't even imagine if you tried to write a movie about it. And another chapter of that story is going to be written this Saturday back in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's his debut in PFL. It's his return to mixed martial arts for the first time since 2022. It is the return of the baddest man on the planet, the lineal MMA heavyweight champion of the world, your friend and mine, Le Prédateur himself, Francis Ngannou. There he is. Francis in the house. My man. Yeah, he's back and stronger than ever. Francis, our first guest ever in the new era. How are you, my friend?
Congratulations on the show, on the new show.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
A show with the crown.
Yes.
Love it.
You're the king, I'm the king.
It's not only about the guests that make the show. I think the host too. The host also make the show, and you're the man.
Thank you, Francis.
Sometimes, I mean, with all due respect, sometimes some hosts, they don't conduct interview properly. I think they have to learn more and get some experience.
I agree. But
you are the man.
Thank you so much, Francis. It means a lot that you'd be here. I know it's a busy time for you. It's another fight week. And by the way, you're back in Saudi Arabia, which of course you were.
I couldn't miss the Ariel Helwani Show.
Yeah. My guy. You're the best. Thank you so much. Francis, off the top, I'd be remiss if I don't give you a hug. I know we talked privately, but I know it's been a tough time for you and your family. So I just want to send my love to you and my condolences publicly as well. And I hope that you are doing okay. I don't think you will ever truly heal from what you experienced a few months ago with the passing of your son. But I just want to say I hope that you are feeling a little bit better and that he is still in your heart and that you are honoring him this Saturday. But I just wanted to express that off the top because I felt like that was the appropriate thing to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just as truly I appreciate your message at the moment when it happened. But as you said, we will not. It's not something that you hear from. You just learn to roll with it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying exactly to figure out the way to move on, to roll with it, because I'm not doing. There's not anything that I will ever do without it anymore. It's just to find a way.
I said when it happened.
In fact, I think to be honest, even though I'm excited to go out there and fight, but for me it's going out there to discover myself, where I am, to find out where I am exactly in life as a person, deep inside me, and that's the only way for me to dig deeper.
Where do you think you are?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a lot of confusion lately. It's been a lot of questions that I kind of ask myself about reason, purpose, motivation, and I don't know, this, because this was, I mean, eventually in any case scenario, it's always going to be basically the toughest thing that a man can face. But I think one of the things that brought a lot of question out is exactly the thing that, as far as I can remember, is the reason why I've been fighting my entire life, to be able to provide for my family, to be able to secure them, to provide security for them, to be able to give them healthcare, not to see somebody pass away like my dad did without having a chance to have any treatment, like, and then I tell myself that I can fight hard in my life not to let that happen again. And I did think that at some point I feel like, oh, I'm not doing bad. I think I'm on the right way. I'm fighting good. I'm securing. If ever is the case, if ever somebody in my family need a medical care or whatever it takes, I think at the point of my life that we will I can handle that, whether it's like medical plane or whatever it is, like name it. I was like, okay, I think I can fight that off. But then the thing that you've been fighting for is the exact thing that happened to you. Like, didn't just have a chance to like take him to the hospital and stuff like that, and then you're kind of like, okay, then why all this? Like, all those years, what was the purpose? If it's to end up exactly feeling exactly like I felt back then, like being powerless, have this feeling of being useless, not to fight for your own.
One thing that I think a lot of people said was that I think a lot of people didn't even know you were a father. You kept your private life very, very, very private. Some people like to show pictures or bring their family to fights. Could I ask just about that mentality? Why do you keep that side of your life so private?
Well, because as they say, it's a private life. And I think like, what we do is fun and also like get on the screen in front of people and everything. I think it's not always like great things. And I think like for myself, my family will choose, or my kids will be the one that they will choose to be on the screen, but at least they have that option. I don't just have to pin that on them, because not everybody enjoy that. And then at least it's good that you choose. So whenever it's hard, you know that it was your decision. It's not something that maybe your parents chose for you. It might be cool, but did you really like it? Or can you handle it? So I think that's the reason.
I wondered when it happened, when we were talking about it, I said, I wouldn't blame Francis if he doesn't fight for the rest of the year, if he takes a year off, if he takes 2 years off. Maybe if he says, to hell with all of this, I want to be left alone. Can I ask about just the process of when you decided, okay, because I know PFL was saying they're giving you space and no one was forcing you. I think that was the case, to where you felt comfortable in coming back.
Yeah, nobody was forcing me. I mean, I'm a free man. I'm not in the position to be forced by anyone. And nobody even trying to force me. I think everyone respect my grieving. And to be honest, like, there was a moment that I didn't just give a shit about anything, whether it's fighting or anything, like, everything should taste tasteless. Like, what's the point? What's the purpose? What's that for? Like, but, and then you process it, you grieve, you mourn, and then you also like want to give a reason for it, want to give a purpose for him, at least for his existence, even though he wasn't long. Because what would that have been if that was the reason for me to stop, to retire, to stop fighting? I mean, is it what I wanted? No. Is it what he would have liked? No. Is it the best way that will honor him? No. I mean, I want him to be remembered, but not as the one that make me retire, or maybe instead, but maybe the one that made me keep fighting.
That's a beautiful way to look at it, and I think everyone supports that and understands. But I would have understood either way, anyway, that you would have decided to go. And so I wonder, just like I remember seeing the first photo of you and Eric Nixick and Dewey, and you started to train a little bit, and we're like, okay. I was wondering if it was therapeutic for you, at least to get back in there. Was it that way, or was it hard to start training and even caring about a fight at the end of the tunnel?
He wasn't hard, like honestly, like when I first went to the gym, for me he was just like, let's go to the gym and see. I'm not really sure of anything. I don't know. I don't really know if I'm going to do this or if I can give it all. And if I cannot give it all, maybe it's just better to cut it out, to take a time, or to just call it out. Because fighting, again, is not like a game. When you're there fighting, you better be there, focused in there. And then I went there, and one thing that I realized is that when I was in the mat, Whatever my day is going, it might be like a sad day because I had a lot of sad day, starting really bad that I'm sad, But when I'm in the gym, I'm just focused on training. I don't think about it maybe until I finish training. So then that's when I kind of realized that, I can still do it because it's not interfering in my training. It's not like in between round, I'm thinking of it, In between round, I'm just thinking of what I'm doing right there in the fight, in training, So that's when I thought he could be okay because I didn't know anything. I was just going, following the flow to see how it goes.
So your last few fights, Stipe Miocic, Cyril Gane, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, these are some of the biggest names. With all due respect to Renan Ferreira, he is not a household name. And so has it been hard to be motivated for him because you're on a different stratosphere from him? I'm not talking about talent. I'm just talking about the name and just like what he brings to the table from a promotional standpoint. Has that been a difficulty for you to be motivated for him, or is that not something you think about or care about?
We don't fight name. We fight talent. The name in that octagon doesn't matter. It's useless. We fight talent. And let me tell you something. This guy has talent. And from all my opponents, I think he's definitely like it's going to be one of my toughest fights. Let's just be serious here. Like, let's look his athleticism, look at his grappling, black belt grappling, striking, like high level, like very well rounded. So I really never have to fight a guy that is at almost as perfect as a fighter, if it's not Stipe Miocic, right? But if you think of all of the others, like this guy is a black belt, but when he strikes, you don't even know that he can grapple. Then when he grapple, you think he's just a grappler. So he brings a lot of challenge, plus his height, his speed, and everything. Yeah, I think it's for me, as I'm taking it, it's very serious. I see it as I take this fight as an underdog.
Wow.
I feel as like an underdog. Yeah.
And just curious, did you consider boxing at all, or what after everything happened and the fight with Joshua came and went? Was the idea always to go back to MMA at this point?
No, I mean the idea was always to go back to have to fight MMA at some point. Like even before the Joshua fight, this fight was scheduled already. I supposed to fight the winner of the PFL Bellator champ, right?
Right.
And I even have this. I haven't signed this deal before the first boxing fight. So this was a contract that I had for a long time, and I intend to honor the contract, even though I still want to fight boxing.
Okay. And you know, I remember the first Stipe fight, and then the subsequent fight, which was against Derek Lewis in Las Vegas, and you talked about you felt almost like you were frozen out there, and I'm wondering if you have thought or contemplated how you will feel coming off what happened against Joshua, your first fight back. Do you think your body will have the same issues?
No, that's not what I was contemplating. The first Stipe fight and the Joshua fight was two completely different fights. I think I prepare very well for the Joshua fight. I get ready, and I get there ready to do everything that I could have done. So again, regardless of the result, like when I look back at that fight and on my end, I think I didn't let any stone unturned, unlike the first Stipe fight. You know, like I think I did things right, and then maybe my hand was a little tight. I will say that. I will always say that. But either way, I think it's different. You know, listen. I'm not in the point of my life that compared to the first Stipe fight that I care about what this person think, what they say, and then it affect me. I don't just give a shit. I just do me, and then whatever comes out, it comes out. You know, I just make sure that I do my best, and I'm good. You know, and I think those were the things that I didn't get back then. You know, I was so like worried about what this person say, like what they think, you know. And now I don't care. I'm free of all of that.
Amen. By the way, when you saw Joshua get knocked out, was there any part of you that said, man, I could have done that. That should have been me doing the knocking out?
I didn't need to see the knockout to say that. I know I can. It didn't happen, but I know I can. Nobody can ever take that from me. Nobody can ever make me say no for that. I could. Didn't happen, but yes, I could. But fight is a fight. Someday is yours, someone is not. And again, I could have been in my better shape, fight my best fight, and still have the same result against Joshua, right? Because it's a fight game. It happened. That's what we do.
Is this your first time back in Saudi Arabia since that fight?
No.
Okay.
I came back. I was here in June.
I remember when we spoke 10 days after the Joshua fight, you talked about being tired and all that stuff in the locker room. How are you going to... This won't be as late, I think, right? Is there anything you're going to do differently so that your body doesn't feel that way?
Well, I think here they have time, they have schedule proper.
Okay.
And then I don't have to go to places and wait for hours before event starts, during the fight week, before it starts. You know, like, for example, like this is a fight week, I have a fight week obligation, right? So I don't have to show up somewhere and then wait for 1 hour, 90 minutes or 2 hours before it starts. Otherwise, I'm calling it out. Like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened on the fight night. You got there too early.
On everything, on the fight week.
Yeah, fight week too, right? Yeah. He did that. AJ Dubois was getting annoyed too. He showed up to the press conference late and the workout late and all that stuff. Do you think that's something he does, or do you think it was more of the organizers that were disorganized?
No, I think it was more the organizers.
Okay.
I think it was more the organizers because the time that they was giving me, you know, they give the pickup time to you and to the driver, and they will pick you up, and then you get there and have to wait 1 hour and a half, 2 hours before the beginning. And now I'm like, you know what time it's going to start? You know, so it was stuff like that.
Okay. And then we get to the press conference in August.
So even before the fight, before the fight night.
Got it.
That was the entire week.
I have to ask you about this because it was very controversial. The press conference in August, you and Renan Ferreira, he received a lot of blowback from people like myself because I felt the comments that he made about your difficult year were very tasteless and out of line. And he has since said that's not what he was referring to. He was referring to just the knockout and not what you and your family have been going through. I felt like, and other Brazilian fighters have backed this up, that he was referring to everything that you have been going through. When you heard that, and since then, how did you interpret his comments? Because I feel like there are certain things that should not be talked about.
Well, I think I don't think he's that kind of guy that's gonna say such a bad thing. And personally, I didn't take it personal. I have been in this situation that I have to speak. English is not his first language, just as mine, right? And I have been in the situation that I have to speak, and they have to translate for me. And most of the time, it doesn't come out the way that I was expressing it, you know. So I think that's how I view it. And then he come out and make a statement about it. But I didn't take it any personal. Again, I mean, some people can even do that, say that for real and mean it. But what is that going to change about my life? I mean, it's not a decision maker. Some people are mean, some are not mean, but life goes on. But in his case, I believe that he didn't mean that.
Okay, so there's no bad blood there. It's not personal between you guys. You don't feel
no.
Okay.
No. I mean, he was very nice. He seems to be a nice guy overall. Like even before the fight, even before they announced that we are going to fight, I have met him and he's very respectful. So I don't think he was going to say he intend to say something like that. He didn't at any point he didn't show any sign of disrespect or something like that, which wouldn't matter, but he didn't.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I saw comments from your head coach, or one of your coaches, Eric Nixick, of course, very good friend of yours, who said that he wished that this fight would be better promoted. Do you feel the same way?
Feel what?
He said comments recently to Bloody Elbow that he wishes that this fight was better promoted, more promoted, that there was more attention on the fight, that there was more people talking about it, more stuff. It's all about you being giants. But to me, this is kind of for the lineal heavyweight championship of MMA because you were the UFC champion and you never lost the title. So he was just expressing some, I guess you could say, disappointment that the event, the fight, your return to MMA, your debut in PFL wasn't promoted enough. Do you feel the same way, or is that not something you're thinking about as well?
I just think about fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not lately. I wasn't really checking what is going on in terms of promotion. If it wasn't about this fight, I mean, personally, I didn't do much. I didn't what I supposed to do, what I should have done. I didn't do it myself, like using my platform, and then they had to push me, like even to post, to promote the fight, to talk about the fight, because I wasn't using my social media for months. At some point, I even thought about like deleting that, but you know, it's just my work too.
Right. And I understand that as well. I do wonder if this one came across your radar. Once again, Dana White was asked about you and the money that you made in boxing, and he referred to it as a myth and that you would have gone more in the UFC, and on it went. Did you see his comments? And if so, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I saw his comment. Well, I saw that, but I mean, at time, I didn't have any reaction. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything from Dana. So if I was expecting something from him, then I would be like, oh, I'm disappointed that he said this or that he did this, that what he's saying is not true. You know, I don't just care about what Dana said. But for reference, it wasn't right. It wasn't true. They wasn't offering me any money that was close to what I have. Basically, the freedom, because I see like trying to drive this into money, but nobody mentioned the terms of the contract, the freedom that I had to do what I want, which was never an option in his. So there's nothing at all comparable.
But even if the freedom is aside, could you once and for all tell us, like, money for money, money versus money, what you've made outside now, the 2 boxing fights and the PFL fight, is that more than what they were offering you?
No, not even not even the PFL one. And let me point this out. He was only for the Jones fight. The other one wasn't the same. And the reason why they offer that, because after the Ngannou fight, since the Stipe fight, they were proposing a new contract that I didn't sign. And after the Ngannou fight, they called me for a meeting, and they promised me that they're gonna make they're gonna back pay me.
Oh,
they said they're gonna back pay me, right? And then when they were making this offer, which again is lower to whatever fight I have made or I'm going to make from there, and then I was like, you talk about the back pay, they say it's included. Then I'm like, okay, if the back pay is truly included, then that means I'm not being paid in this fight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because it should be like back pay on top. Yeah.
I'm not a mathematician, but I can do the 1 + 1, like at least like on 10, I can count.
So to be clear, because you said no there, I just want to be clear because I know some, the Jones, let's say it was the 2 Jones fight, the Tyson fight and the AJ fight compared to the 2 Jones fights, which one would you have made more for?
You mean 2 Jones fight combined?
Yeah, because they were offering you 2 Jones fights, right? Weren't they offering you like a Jones fight and then a potential rematch? So if you compare those 2, not even the PFL one, to the 2 boxing matches that you had.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Different stratosphere.
I mean, there wasn't 2 Jones fight. I requested 2 Jones fight, the match and rematch. I mean, they didn't really say anything about it. So we were just talking about that Jones fight, the 1 Jones fight, which wasn't that point.
Okay. By the way, what do you make of all the...
if this continue, if you want, I can bring up all the numbers. I have all the numbers.
Okay.
I have all the receipts.
You want to bring them up now, or
I have numbers.
You want now or later?
No.
Okay.
Let's keep it again. Let's keep it. I don't like to bring numbers up, but if I need to, I will.
By the way, why do you think he takes this so personally? Why do you think he still is trying to make it seem like you made a mistake?
Well, I think he's the better one to answer that question, but
yeah,
I'm not sure you're going to be able to ask him.
Oh, come on, Francis. That's not very nice. That's not very...
Personally, I have no problem. And if I have a mistake, listen, I have no problem making mistake. Because I face my mistakes. I take a responsibility of my mistake as a man. I have problem making a mistake. And if I have made a mistake, I'm okay with it. So then if it was my mistake, why can somebody move on from it since I have moved on? So then that get me to question, who really did a mistake here? Because I'm good. From where I am, I'm good. This could end up like, okay, we couldn't come to an agreement. Sorry for this and blah, 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 and good luck. And we move on. And everybody moves on. Never had to come into a drama, right? And then so after over 2 years become a drama and a drama. Like, come on, man. I think I'm getting old for those shit.
And by the way, what do you make? I don't know if you follow it, but like Jones, everyone wants him to fight Aspinall, and now it's not happening. He's fighting Stipe, and it's reminiscent of your situation where everyone wanted to see you guys fight, and there's all kinds of stuff being made. Do you feel like this is like deja vu? Do you feel like you're watching the same movie play out?
I think the same movie being played out so many times. People sometimes don't just recognize the movie that they are watching.
Who do you think wins?
But what I would say...
Please.
Who? Between who?
Jones and Stipe. But I wanted to hear what you were going to say there, sorry, on the back end.
No, I think... No, what I was going to say is like Jones can want to fight whomever he wants to fight. Then whatever happened is not his responsibility, right? I think he's supposed to fight Stipe since last year, and then he still want to fight Stipe. Obviously, the situation of Aspinall is not great. I also understand where he's coming from, but I mean, can't blame anybody.
That's fair. Who do you think wins that fight? You know Stipe well. You fought him twice. You beat him last time, or Jones?
I haven't seen Stipe. Stipe haven't fight since what, three years and a half?
Since your fight, since you knocked him out.
Yeah, since his fight. So I don't really know like where he's at. I don't know how he's gonna show up. I know he's always show up good, but it's been a while, and he's not getting younger. He's not getting any younger. So I think it's slightly. All those questions slightly make me shift slightly into Jones' side, even though like at first I was like half.
Okay. And so
but Stipe is a guy that when he's very committed, when he show up in full. So if he show up in full, and he can really surprise you, right? So I wouldn't be surprised also if he wins.
As far as heavyweight MMA is concerned, who's the best heavyweight in the world in your opinion?
As far as MMA?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm the best.
That's what I wanted to hear, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah, just for the record, I'm the best.
And for you, have you even? I know you're focused on Saturday, 2025. Would you like to box? What are your plans? Have you laid out 2025 yet? Have you thought about what you would like to do?
No, I haven't laid anything out. I'll fight Saturday and then see how it goes. See what's open next. You know, again, one step at a time. As I said, this for me was like. I'm basically like discovering myself now. I'm in the process of discovering myself, and then therefore I will make a plan.
Is that comfortable for you, or is it a little uncomfortable? As you say, you're discovering yourself as you're about to fight a giant of a man. Rarely are you smaller, shorter than your opponent. This guy's gigantic, 6'8", I believe. Is that a comfortable position for you to be in? Do you like this feeling of discovering yourself, or is it uncomfortable?
Where I'm worried about is not his height. If it was just his height, that wouldn't be a problem. I think it's his skill, his talent. I think that's what we should all be worried about. But as far as his height, I'm not worried about that at all.
Is there an outcome or a finish in mind that you keep thinking about, that you envision for Saturday?
No, I think he moves a lot and he has a good grappling. I mean, he's a black belt. So unless the fight goes longer, if the fight go past two round, I think it's likely gonna end up into like a decision. Otherwise, if he stay into 2 round, I think it's a knockout. Oh, yeah. Oh, why not a submission?
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. That's
I'm not a black belt. I'm not a black belt, but I'm not bad too.
Yeah.
I've been working on some little tricks.
That would be insane. And I don't doubt you. We never doubt you, Francis. We will never doubt you. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for being our first guest. Thank you for making the time. Much love to you. All the best. Can't wait for Saturday. Can't wait to see you in action once again. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me as the first guest.
Yes, sir. You're the man. Au revoir, Francis. And hopefully we could talk after the win on Saturday. There he is, the great Francis Ngannou, le Prédateur. And so, yes, he does return on Saturday, October 19th. And if you buy the pay-per-view, like I said, on DAZN, via DAZN, you get Helwani Vision. First time we do this, something I've been dreaming about for about 5 years. If you've seen Manning Cast, and look at that logo. That is something. Shout out to the whole team here at Yahoo, Amber, Grant, Girk, Shirley. They've all done a great job. I believe there's a TJ. I might have gotten that wrong, but I'm trying my best here, guys, to give everyone a shout out in some way, shape, or form. You've seen Manning Cast. You'll watch the feed. This isn't a watch party situation, and those are great. We do them here. But this is in partnership with everyone involved, DAZN, airing the show, airing the fight. Beginning of the main card, you buy the pay-per-view on DAZN, which is available worldwide, including here in the United States, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can watch the official broadcast. You can watch us from right here. And there's the face-off. There's Francis, and there's La Problema, Renan Ferreira, a mountain of a man, and glad to hear that there's no grudge, there's no hard feelings between the two of them. And yes, Chael P. going to join us. Tyron Woodley's going to join us. Megan Anderson's going to join us. Tim Welch is going to join us. Rob Gronkowski is going to join us. Jake Paul's going to join us. Yes. And you could probably figure out who booked which guest. But it's an amazing card. It's an absolute banger of a card. A lot of people said, I'm in for this one. You know, a lot of money is being asked of us to spend on these pay-per-views, but the main card is great. Francis versus Renan Ferreira is a tremendous fight, arguably for the lineal MMA world title. I love the AJ McKee, Paul Hughes fight. I love that one. I think we have the lineup, right? Do we have the lineup? I love the AJ McKee, Paul Hughes fight. An amazing matchup between two studs. The former Bellator champion going up against Paul Hughes, who signed with PFL/Bellator mid last year and made his debut in June. Chris Cyborg is returning finally to fight Larissa Pacheco in a female MMA super fight. And yes, they promoted Pacheco beating Kayla Harrison. So what? That happens. I don't think anyone should really care, to be honest. It's not the biggest deal. And there it is. Johnny Eblen against Fabian Edwards is the other big one. Johnny Eblen versus Fabian Edwards. Obviously, Eblen, one of the best middleweights in the world. And they had a fight back in the day. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see them in action. I can't wait to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be a grand old time. So again, you buy the pay-per-view, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific. DAZN only. DAZN pay-per-view available worldwide. You get the pay-per-view. You get Helwani Vision. You could go back and forth if you want, and we'll be doing it from here. We'll have guests. You'll have the feed in the middle. You'll have the guests on the side. Myself, the boys are going to join me, and I can't wait to get into it. Chael P. Megan, who fought Chris, Tyron Woodley, who helped train AJ McKee back in the day. It's great stuff. Great stuff. All right. So trying to put this show together, trying to put our first episode together, I wanted people who are obviously big names. I wanted people who have been in the news as of late. I wanted people who we haven't had a chance to talk to since things have happened in their lives. I wanted reliable people. I wanted friends of the program. I wanted people who have been featured on this show over the years, who have been good to us, and hopefully they feel we have been good to them as well. And so it wasn't that hard when, you've been out of the game for 3 months. There's a mountain of things that have happened. There's a ton of news. And one of the big stories happened around a month or so ago when we found out finally that Michael Chandler is in fact returning. It's going to be almost exactly 2 years since his last fight. Unfortunately for him, it is not against Conor McGregor. And this has been quite the saga, which we have talked to him about on numerous occasions. It is going to be a rematch against Charles Oliveira, and it's going to be back at Madison Square Garden here in New York City, the site of his last fight 2 years ago. And so much to discuss with the former Bellator champion, with the former contender, and perhaps a soon-to-be lightweight contender in the UFC. Let us say hello now to Iron Mike Chandler, who is kind enough to join us. There he is.
What's up, Ariel?
How are you, sir? Welcome to the new program. It's great to see you, my friend.
You as well, man. Congrats. It looks good. So I'm excited to be here on your first episode. Let's do this thing.
I appreciate it. Okay, so like I said, I laid it out. A lot has happened since we last spoke, and this is the big question that I wanted to ask off the bat. When I say unfortunately, I said unfortunately it's not against Conor. We talked about it. We know you wanted it. Is that a sentiment that you share? Is it unfortunate? Do you feel that way when talking about how this all played out?
Man, yeah, I mean, you can use the word unfortunate, obviously, man, but when you've been in the game as long as I have, I've had numerous opponents get injured, pull out of fights, get sick, whatever it may be. So you got to deal with the uncertainty. Obviously, this one had a lot of uncertainty surrounding it since day one, since the Ultimate Fighter back in January of 2023 or whatever that was. And people said it was never going to happen. Obviously, we had a contract signed. June 29th was the date. I am a man of my word, and I was ready to go, but it fell through. So I would say, yeah, it was unfortunate, but the next best option would be to fight Charles Oliveira in a #1 contender fight at Madison Square Garden, the world's most iconic arena, with John Jones and Stipe claiming to be or crowning the baddest man on the planet. So it's worked out well, and I'm excited to go out there and work in 5 weeks.
What was the tipping point for you? Because so many things happened where everyone was like, okay, man, it's time to move on. And then you finally moved on. For you, what was the point where you said, all right, I'm done, I'm moving on?
It was about a month or so later. I mean, I think when the fight got canceled, I went home, licked my wounds, spent some time with the family. I was 10 weeks through a 12-week training camp at that time. So just needed to get home and recalibrate. And I was in constant contact with the UFC. They've been phenomenal throughout this entire process. My wife and I had a lot of conversations. I sought wise counsel with the greatest people around me. And, we came up with a decision. Once it looked like, when you talk about a broken pinky toe, it looked like it could have been August, September, October. But it just wasn't in the cards. So as soon as I knew that wasn't in the cards, and if it spills into 2025, it's time for me to go work. It's time for me to go take on another challenge, and Charles Oliveira is that challenge, and we get to go chase that belt.
And so how does it work? Does it work like you say to the UFC, okay, I'm ready to move on, or did they present you something which helped you move on?
UFC has always been adamant. Hey, listen, we think this fight's happening. Even before it got signed, just take a little bit more patience. And then once the fight did get booked, and then it got canceled, they obviously were, I was in constant contact with Hunter Campbell and Dana, and they just said, hey, this is an option. Charles needs a fight. You guys have some history. This fight makes a lot of sense. This is a fight that we can give you if you want it. And I molded over for a couple weeks, looked at it. I needed to also think about my weight. I was preparing for a 170 pound bout for about a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, when they talked about Utah, I wasn't going to be able to make it that quick, or I at least needed to experiment with my body and try to get down into the 80s to even be thinking about getting down to 155 by October. And then we settled on November 16th. But the UFC said, hey, Oliveira's ready to fight. If you want to fight, let us know. And They said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, "Yes." I've bet on myself my entire life. I bet on myself walking on to the University of Missouri. I bet on myself leaving the relative security of Bellator and coming over to the UFC, knowing darn well that I could crash and burn here, and this would not turn out well for me. I'm going to go bet on myself again. I'm betting on myself to go beat out Charles Oliveira. For the Conor fight to still be there, if it is, it isn't. Or if it is, or if it isn't, I'm fine because I beat Charles Oliveira. I fight Islam or Arman in 2025.
Has that been promised to you? Is that in stone? You win this fight, you're number one?
It's a number one contender fight. That's what Dana announced. Dana announced it whenever he got on his social media and said, "Hey, this fight is happening November 16th in a 5-round co-main event, number one contender fight." So that is from the boss's mouth to your ears. So he said it's a number one contender fight. Charles Oliveira is the highest ranked guy in the division, not named Arman Sarukian or Islam Makhachev. So I beat him. I'm the number one contender.
How'd you feel about 5 rounds?
I love it. I think, the last fight, obviously, we didn't need 5 rounds. I started off a little bit too hot, as I tend to do. But it's a 5-round co-main event on a huge card, and it's a number one title fight or a number one contender implication. So if I got to go work for 5 rounds, I'll work for 5 rounds. And I got a sneaky suspicion it's not going to take me that long, hopefully this time.
And by the way, you mentioned the weight. Just curious, like when you agreed to this, how much did you weigh and how difficult has it been to transform your body back to a lightweight?
I was about 190. And
wow.
And that's not, it's not atypical for me. I do get up to about 190 depending on where I'm at in my training cycles. But at that point, obviously, I was trying to keep weight on during that 170 camp for Conor, which was great and it was fun and it was nice actually. But then as soon as I went home, hung out for took a week off to let my body heal up a little bit and started training again. I needed to get the cardio in, start dieting, and get back down into the low 80s and then hopefully into the 70s a couple weeks later. So we're right on track. My body has bounced back. My body knows how to make 155. I've done it without fail 32 times in my career now, and I've never missed weight, never pulled out of a fight. So we're going to keep that going.
Conor has obviously been very present over the last few weeks, and he does continue to say that he wants this fight, that he wants to figure it out, he wants to settle it. That doesn't necessarily mesh with what you just said there, number one contender, then title fight if all goes well. And so how does he factor into your plans when you hear him say that?
No, I think all I think about is the number one goal, which is the one fight that I have in front of me. Obviously, if we get done with this fight, you're going to have Islam and Arman. I don't know what that date is, but it sounds like it's going to be January. They're going to need a couple months to heal up. Then you got Ramadan and all that stuff. So who knows what happens? The whole world knows, and Conor knows, I want to fight Conor McGregor. We have to finish the Ultimate Fighter 31, or else it was all for naught. We have beef. We have a history. He needs to remove the stain of the MMA communities in their mind of him pulling out of this fight with a broken pinky toe. It needs to be Chandler versus McGregor. His road back to the UFC goes through Nashville, Tennessee. So that is the fight that I want. All I'm saying is I'm more focused right now on the more immediate goal, which is beating Charles Oliveira. And then all of a sudden you got Chandler versus McGregor becoming a number one contender fight, and then the whole world goes bananas. So we'll see what happens there.
He did say on Saturday that he's returning February 1st against Dan Hooker. Now, I dug around a little bit, and I was told there's nothing yet on the table. Perhaps that's what he wants. It was a very quick clip. I don't know if you saw it, but it just felt like he was throwing it out there. What's your reaction to him saying that?
Yeah, Conor's a very flavor of the week kind of guy. He just had a conversation with Dan Hooker. Everybody knows Dan Hooker's an awesome dude. You can sit there and have a beer with him, a forged Irish stout in the middle of a squared ring and be like, hey, man, I like you. You like me. We can make some magic. Let's fight each other. So I look no further than that, honestly. Dan Hooker is in the top 5 now. And if anything, it strengthens my case that I deserve to be in that top 5, top 6 anyway, because I have a win over him in my debut. So I'm happy for Dan Hooker. I don't think the UFC is going to be very keen on McGregor versus Hooker compared to McGregor versus Chandler, since we need to make this fight happen. So I'm not really that worried about it. It's been up in the air for the better part of 2 years. So I'm not going to spend any time or energy or effort worrying about it. The good thing is I have a great job to do in front of me, and that's November 16th at Charles Oliveira.
I do wonder, though, how you feel about this. A lot of people continue to say they don't think he ever fights again. I'm not one of those people. I do think he fights again, but it's out there. Do you subscribe to that?
I believe Conor McGregor fights again. I believe the way it's all happened, the campaign he put on, calling it the greatest comeback in combat sports history, the Ultimate Fighter, signing a contract to fight me and then pulling out of a fight. I mean, if you really think about Conor McGregor's legacy, the guy who was known for having opponents pull out of fights, and then him saying, I don't care, Dana, figure out who I'm fighting, and I'm going to go train. You let me know when I get done training. That has been his legacy. So to let his career end a couple of years ago, really, when he broke his leg, and then to do a training camp, do all the promotion and do everything for Tough 31, to have a contract signed against me, to then pull out with a broken pinky toe. The broken pinky toe becomes the last thing that you did inside of your legacy. So I don't think Conor wants that. I got a ton of respect for what Conor has done and what he has built. And yes, if you look at the way he lives his life, it doesn't look like he is thinking about training and fighting and putting in a 12-week training camp like the rest of us savages. But I do believe he's romantic about the sport. I do believe he's coming back. And when he does come back, I do believe he fights me.
Last thing on Conor, if the timing doesn't work out and his return isn't against you, how will you react to that?
This sport moves fast, man. This sport it's the most beautiful sport in the world. You have covered it now for decades. You love it, and you love it because of the parody. You love it because of the stories. You love it because of the ups and the downs and the craziness that happens. This is the sport that I chose, and I've been very adamant and very vocal. I chose this as well, all right? I'm not mad at Conor. I'm not mad at the UFC. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at the media. I'm not mad at anybody who has naysayed me or questioned my decisions over the last year and a half. I am taking this squarely on my chest. I am the man who chose to wait that long and then sign the contract and then him pull out. So it's unfortunate. Like you said, you can use the word unfortunate if the fight never happens. But I was told that the fight is that he's coming back in 2025, and I got the first bite at that apple. So we'll see what happens there.
2 years since your last fight, same venue. It's crazy how life works. Any concerns about the opening round, ring rust, all that stuff?
No, not at all. If anything, this was the best thing that could have possibly happened to me. Ariel, you've followed my career for a very long time. You've seen how I operate. You see the attention to detail that I put in. You see how I pour my full self into these training camps. And to go for the first 26 months of me signed with the organization with 6 training camps, 5 fights, every single fight a banger, every single fight a fight of the night, title fights, main events, co-main events. It took a toll on me, and I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of searching for who the best athlete that I need to be was. So having a year and a half kind of off and out of the octagon, doing some cool appearances, working on my other businesses, spending time with my family, it was the best thing that could have possibly happened to me. My body feels fresh. My body feels ready. My body feels energized because I was running on empty in those last couple training camps just because of the constant grind and no time off. By the time I healed up from these fights, I was getting back into a new training camp. So I don't want to sit here and sound soft or sound like I was making excuses, but the year and a half off was the best thing that could have happened for me. I also made some very, very big realizations and epiphanies about the sport as a whole, and I think it's all going to show November 16th.
Like what? Could I ask?
I just think I've made the sport harder than it needed to be. I think I don't want to let the fans down and make them think that I'm going to go out there and fight any different. It's going to be Michael Chandler, foot on the gas, nonstop pressure, nonstop on the edge of your seat action. But there's ways that I can fight. There's things that I can do. There's game plans that I can implement as a veteran of the sport to not just make the sport easier, but to increase the likelihood of me not just winning, but winning in dominant fashion. So that's how I've been training over the last year and a half. That's how I've been visualizing. That's how I was going to fight against Conor. And now Charles Oliveira gets to be the guy who takes the brunt of that, and I'm excited to become the number 1 contender.
Okay, so that's really interesting because I think most people will interpret that as like, oh, the rock'em sock'em firefight Chandler that we saw in the last, a couple of years now in the UFC is going to go back to like the Missouri wrestler Chandler that maybe we saw more in the Bellator days. Are you implying that? Because let's be honest, there haven't been a lot of takedowns or at least attempts out of you, and you've delivered every time, kill or be killed. But some have questioned whether or not that's good for your health and longevity. Are you going back to old school Michael Chandler more?
Man, I think even in Bellator, when I was getting a few takedowns, I was never in a boring fight.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
ever did get a takedown, I got the finish or a extremely dominant unanimous decision, 10-8 rounds. No, I just think I think we as human beings, we can operate in a certain way that actually stifles and stymies our gifts that we have. I think I have got some great gifts that I've been blessed with. I've worked extremely hard to hone in those skills and hone in those gifts. I've got a phenomenal team of training partners and a phenomenal staff of coaches around me. And I've got a crazy calling on my life. And the calling on my life is not just to be a guy who was inside the top 10 for a couple of years inside the UFC, who's got some great fights of the nights, fights of the years, and some highlights. My destiny is to be UFC champion. So it's not going to be boring, I can tell you that much. All it is explosiveness and fast when Michael Chandler steps inside the octagon. So don't get that twisted. But I can make the sport a little bit easier and still be extremely dominant.
There's a beautiful story to be told here. You were literally that close to beating him the first time in the first round, and that was for the belt in your second UFC fight. How long did it take for you to get over that? Because we know it was heartbreaking to see you in the aftermath. We know how much that meant to you, winning the title and being champion. And now you get a chance to right the wrong. I know the belt isn't on the line, but hopefully you get to punch that ticket if all goes well. Going back 2+ years, how long did it take for you to get over being that close?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is the belt is on the line again. You know, the belt is not on the line that night, but fighting for the belt is on the line November 16th. And I get to step into the octagon a completely different man than I was my second fight in the UFC. I'll never forget. I mean, I got done knocking out Dan Hooker, coming back from Abu Dhabi, went on a vacation. And while I was on vacation, for about 2 weeks after that fight, I got the call from Hunter that Khabib was retiring. He's really not coming back. You and Charles are fighting for the lightweight title in Houston, Texas. I got that call like 14 days after my debut, right? So, and I had just come off of my training camp with Vincent Henderson in August, then went right back into another training camp to be the backup in October, to then go into another training camp to fight Dan Hooker, to knock out Dan Hooker in January, to then go into another training camp to fight Oliveira in May. So when it's a beautiful chain of events, right? Because that's what you want. I told Hunter Campbell in our first meeting, I'm not here to tiptoe around the top 20. I don't need any tune-up fights. Either I am who I say, I am, or I'm not. And they gave me that opportunity because I went back to back to back to back. So who I was fighting in Houston, Texas at UFC 262, I think it was, I just wasn't ready. I thought I could just go out there and break Charles Oliveira fast, and I was that close. I mean, you can go back and watch the highlight. The referee was milliseconds away from sticking his arm in there, stepping in between us, because Charles Oliveira was in a bad way. So he felt the power. He knows what happens when I hit him. And this time I'm going to finish the job.
I'm assuming you watched his fight against Arman. And if so,
I did. I was cage side, so I saw. Yeah, the UFC was gracious enough to give me cage side right in the middle, best tickets I've ever gotten, because they were like, "Hey, this guy was supposed to be fighting this night. This sucks for him. Let's put him front and center." So I got to see that fight, the best I've seen in a UFC fight.
Okay, so what was your takeaway from that? Were you expecting that, or were you surprised? Why did it not go his way against Arman?
I just think Charles didn't do enough. You know, Arman did a good job of circling around, utilizing his feints, doing a great job of threatening the takedown when they were on the feet to then land the left hook and touching the legs. And then when he did get the takedowns, Charles just couldn't do much. Either Charles was just being a little bit conceding to the position and a little bit lazy down there, or Arman is that big, that strong, and that controlling on top. But I think Arman just put together a perfect game plan to beat Charles Oliveira. Keep your hands up. Don't get hit by him. Don't get taken down by him. Put him up against the cage, pick him up, put him down, and beat him up until the ref pulls you off of him. Obviously, that was a decision. In that first round, though, that guillotine was very tight. So it was. I think Arman just had a great game plan, and Arman was the better guy that night. And I think this is the perfect time to fight Charles coming off of a loss. He becomes a little bit streaky in these times when he takes losses, and it's a perfect time to fight him.
By the way, Arman and Islam, I've heard the same. January, perhaps in LA. Who do you fancy in that one?
I fancy Islam. You know, like you said, I don't know. I've heard that fight is January. It's good timing. You know, I'll get through the holidays, and I'll be sitting there cage side, seeing who my next opponent is. I think Islam is just he has evolved a lot over the last couple fights. He's going to get the takedown. If he does get the takedown, I think he can get the submission. And obviously, he showed against Poirier that he's something to be reckoned with on the feet these days. So I think Islam gets the job done, and I don't think it's that close.
Wow.
I'm not necessarily saying he dominates Arman, but I do think he takes this one pretty handily.
Because they fought once before, and it was a short notice fight for Arman, and it was pretty close.
Yeah,
but Islam's come a long way.
Yeah, I think Islam has come a long way. I was one of Islam's biggest retractors, if you will. He kind of came in, he called me out, was calling a bunch of guys out, and that's what you got to do in the UFC once you get there, to start calling your shots. And he got a title fight off of beating number 12 or number 15 or something like that. So obviously I wasn't, expecting him to win the title, but then he did. He proved everybody wrong, and he has done nothing but improve over the last couple fights. So I don't think it'll be as close as the last one was.
Why is Arman always talking smack to you on Twitter? What's going on over there? And is there a part of you that's hoping he wins so that you can settle this with him?
No, because I'd rather fight Islam. I really would rather fight Islam. I mean, if Arman becomes the champion and Arman wins that title, then I'm completely okay with it. What's funny about this tweet that you say, there's been numerous tweets that have been thrown out, and it's so funny that it's easy that these fighters can stand on their Twitter soapbox and say what they would have done in my position when 99% of them, if not all of them, would have done the exact same thing that I did. And then what's really funny is, I just tweeted at Arman a couple days ago, or a week or two ago, he didn't respond, I screenshotted that he said, if I have to wait, a full year for this Islam fight to materialize, then he'll do it. And I'm like, well, that's 17 months out of the cage. That's the exact amount of time I spent out. And you can make the case, okay, that's a title fight compared to fighting Conor. But either way, you said you wouldn't wait that long for a fight, and you will. So it's no big deal, man. I wish him the best. I think Islam smokes him, and I'm sure Arman and I will share the octagon at some point, but it will not be after this fight because I do think Islam fights him.
Okay, fair enough. By the way, are you in Florida right? Are you in Florida right now?
I am, yes.
Killcliff?
Killcliff, yeah.
We just found out on Saturday, I believe a teammate of yours, Shavkat Rakhmonov, fighting for the belt. How do you think he does in his first title fight in December?
Shavkat is an absolute animal. So yeah, that was great to see that fight materialize. I mean, obviously I've heard the rumblings that might have been happening, because obviously I've been looking at these dates for the last couple months since this fight got canceled. It all becomes, hey, you want to fight Conor, but what actual date are you going to fight Conor? December was one of those things, but so I heard this fight was going to be happening. But Shavkat is good, man. Shavkat he's an absolute stud. He's a nice guy, but a savage whenever you're watching him spar, whenever you're watching him grapple, whenever you're watching him in the exchanges in the gym. So he's a great asset to the team down here, and I'll probably be watching that one as well. I want to enjoy going to all these fights coming up because there's a lot of big fights coming up.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Obviously, when you fight for the belt for the first time, things can change. But I think there's a lot of people picking him. I don't know what the odds are right now, but he could be the kryptonite for Belal, who's looked incredible, I think, unbeaten in his last 10, 11 in a row. Do you ever get to spar with him, or is he too, when you were preparing for 170, are you ever in there with him?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I had my sparring partners, and I keep them all the same ones.
Okay.
The older you get, the more you realize it's not about going with all the different bodies. It's about going with the right guys, the right bodies that are going to make sure you get to the octagon safe and not injured on fight night. So I did not get the chance to spar or do any kind of training with him. Actually, I just watched him and grew a relationship with him, and he's a cool dude.
Okay. Before I let you go, what else do we got? You always got your hand in all these different businesses. Tell us what we got. Are we doing the promotional speaking yet? Are we doing the motivational stuff yet? What are we doing there? Are we still doing the sandwiches? What do we have? I feel like you've always got a million things.
We got a lot of stuff going on, man. I did a lot of speaking over the last year and a half, obviously being outside the octagon, just spreading my message and the similarities between the fights that we go through inside the octagon and the fights that everybody's going through in life. Cram Nutrition, our PB&Js are crushing it. Hiatus Tequila is crushing it. I got a huge announcement coming up with my Walk On Fitness app that won't be able to be announced for at least another month or so. But there's a huge fitness community that we are building there. We got got version 2 coming out and a huge partnership that's going to absolutely blow it up. So we're excited about that. I've always just liked to be more than a fighter. I always wanted to change the view and the vision of what a fighter is. And I'm trying to do that to the best of my ability and spend time with my family and make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. That's the goal.
I think you have done all of that and then some. Mike, you're the man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to your return here in New York City in about a month's time from now, a little over a month. Well done to you. And thank you, as always, for coming on and giving us some time. Really, really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm honored to be on the first episode, man. Congrats on everything you have done, continuing to be steadfast and immovable and never be denied. You are the man, Ariel.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. There he is, the great Michael Chandler, returning on November 16th. Really appreciate those words. Very, very kind of him. And that is some card. We are a little over a month away from UFC 309. Of course, we have 308 coming up in less than 2 weeks, and we'll be doing a watch party for that, so stay tuned. The boys are going to be holding it down, but John Jones versus Stipe Miocic is, of course, the main event. Let us knock on wood that finally comes to fruition, and of course, it has been announced that our last guest on today's program, Tommy Aspinall, is going to be the backup fighter, so we'll see how he feels about that. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, 5-round number 1 contender fight, as he put it. Viviane Araújo against Karine Silva. Bo Nickel against Paul Craig is a very fun fight at middleweight. Also fun, Eric Anders versus Chris Weidman. Still kicking it. I like it. Nikita Krylov against Azamat Murzakanov. And Jonathan Martinez is on there. Mickey Gall is back. And Veronica Hardy, friend of the program, who essentially calls New York her second home these days. And what about the Welsh gangster? He sent me a message. I think he said almost 40 years since Hulkamania was born in Madison Square Garden. What did he refer to it as? Like Welsh gangster mania will run wild against Basil Hafez on November 16th. That's the night after Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, which Frank has told me he's still quite nervous about, because you're afraid that it's going to be bad news for Jake, right?
Not at all. Jake's going to deliver 1,000%.
You pumped about that?
He's already dead.
Yes. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Some are calling it the people's main event.
It's certainly the people's main event.
Okay, fair enough. I'll be working that card for Netflix. I'm very excited about that.
You can hear Frank's enthusiasm for Amanda Serrano there. His favorite fighter. He's like, yeah, it's going to be good.
His two favorite fighters. Yeah. It's an MVP night. And he's just like, yeah.
It's a dream. Do it.
I'm happy to go!
By the way, when you press it, you can't take it back unless it didn't work. What happened? I'm not sure.
I fat-fingered it.
Okay, no problem. I mean, apropos, commiserations, of course, to Tatsura Taira, who...
what a fight that was.
Failed to prevail. It was a great fight. Whew. It's just, not trying to be...
What? Tell us.
Well, to go from that scene in Riyadh to that is just such a bummer. Like, what is that equal to? Like, going from, like, the pageantry of all of that in Riyadh to the apex.
Yeah, Missy Elliott to to the ESPN Plus employee sitting in the crowd.
to the silence of
to literally the employee. Like,
all right, man, we're doing Apex 100. Then who knows when we're going to be back there?
I mean,
you got to get a poster for that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not just talking about
a printed out one signed by. I was gonna say, do you think I could apply for a?
You gotta go.
Credential?
You have to go.
Hell yeah, man!
And fly out there, November 9th.
Yeah, there it is. It's. I mean, arguably, November 9th, heading into November 15th, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, Serrano Taylor 2, and then 16th. Fair to say you're probably more excited about November 9th.
Yeah, I that was never in question. UFC Apex 100.
If you don't go, will you do a watch party for it? I almost feel like the watch party needs to be like in your kitchen. Yeah. Like it has to be apropos to
it just needs to be my like me zooming in on a phone, no microphone, walking around. Yeah. Like how I would watch an Apex card. Maybe I like go to a bar and I mount it up on like a drink and I watch it like that for a minute.
I think that's a good idea. By the way, a lot of people have been asking me this. I don't know if we can talk about it, but a lot of people have enjoyed Fight Feast.
They're back.
They're back.
UFC 308, first one back.
308.
No problem, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we, in the theme of everything going on, are we upping the stakes? Are we upping the production value? Are there new trinkets?
Hopefully. I don't know about trinkets, but we're trying to level
bells
up.
and whistles.
We might be going from horizontal or from vertical to horizontal.
Ooh, that's big.
I mean, that's about as big as it gets.
Okay. I would say that's a leveling up, just turning the camera.
Speaking of which,
That sounded a little sarcastic.
We were framing up Michael Chandler, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, can you turn your phone sideways? And he was like, do you want north and south or east and west? I'm like, man, this guy's a pro. I was expecting maybe like hamburger style or hot dog style, but east and west versus north and south. I'm here for it.
I wouldn't even know. What's the answer to that?
We go east
and west.
What does east and west even mean?
Left and right.
Wow.
Horizontal. Like what?
What the fuck
North
is
is
going
up,
on, bro?
South is down.
Got it.
I don't know if you do. Where are your flashcards?
Hamburger hot dog is a great one. Is that a technical term? Is that like 10-4?
That's what I was taught.
I haven't heard that in forever.
Is that a real term?
Elementary school term, and like fold the paper, hamburger style. Or at least it was in Texas. I don't know.
No. I don't know anything about that. But I love the way everyone looks in the squares. I was just admiring all of that.
Those are rectangles.
Yeah, that's right. We even have like the war hat here. We've got Derek Lewis there. We've got all kinds of things. And there's actually a whole other side here. Casey O'Neill and whatnot. We've got to show it off. We've got to show it off properly. But again, as I was, and still to come is Tom Aspinall, and of course the first ever member of the Parlay Pals to ever win a UFC belt, Julianna Peña. She'll be joining us as well. But I was going through the list. I was going through the possibilities. I was going through the things that we haven't had a chance to weigh in on and talk about and have a proper show on. And obviously, Noche UFC was a big deal. And obviously, it was a difficult and disappointing night for our guy, Sugar Sean O'Malley. A joyous night for Merab Dvalishvili. But Sean has always been great to us and always been accessible and gracious with his time. And so I know he did his podcast afterwards, but the show with Tim Welch, who will be joining us on Helwani Vision on Saturday for the Battle of the Giants pay-per-view, but wanted to have a conversation with Sugar Sean O'Malley following the event, see where he's at, see how he's feeling following surgery as well. And he is kind enough to be joining us. And so there he is, the Sugar Show in the house. It is good to see you, my friend. How are you? And thank you for doing this on our very first episode, Sean.
I appreciate it, Ariel. It's good to chat with you. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. You're looking great. Are you feeling good? Could you tell us, first and foremost, after surgery, how are you feeling? How's the body feeling? How did it go?
God, I feel so good. I literally, that's where I'm driving back from is I just had my checkup. It was like 11-day, 2-week checkup, whatever. And I feel so good. And they're like, just slow down. Just make sure you slow down just because you feel good. You got to make sure everything stays where it needs to stay. So that's kind of been the hardest thing is just kind of doing less.
Okay. And so what was it? It was hip surgery?
I had a torn labrum 10 weeks before the fight. I fucking snapped my labrum. And it is what it is. It's, call it an excuse, but what is the truth and excuse? I guess it is whatever. But yeah, it was unfortunate.
Did you consider pulling out?
No.
Why not?
UFC Noche, fucking, it's Merab sucks. Like, there was no reason to pull out.
Do you regret not pulling out?
No, because I'm going to whoop Merab's ass, and it's going to make it that much sweeter when I beat him the second time.
Okay, but so like I remember the Aljo fight, right? And you talked about in the aftermath how big of a nightmare that training camp was and fight week was and whatnot. Was it the same this time around? Like, did it preclude you from rolling, from boxing, from kicking? How limited were you in the preparation for this?
I'm not. Overall, I had a good camp, way better camp than the Aljo camp. The rib injury was a lot harder to train with than the torn labrum. The labrum is it's just pain. It's not gonna. I mean, the ribs pain too, but it's a different pain. I was able to do a lot more. I was not able to wrestle as much as I would have liked. There was. I know I can wrestle better than that. I've been training with really, really good guys for a long time, and I know I can do better. That's what was so frustrating. It's just it wasn't. Merab's good. he's not great. Merab's good, and that's what's frustrating. Is I just it is what it is. I'm gonna get it back though, Ariel, and it's gonna feel that much better this next time.
Does it, like, in the aftermath? It's been almost a month. Does it eat you up inside? You feel like you're that much better than him? You say he's good, not great. To not be at your best, to lose to him, has it been festering in you? Has it been bothering you a lot?
I'm this far removed. I feel like I'm somewhat over it. It still bothers me a little bit. The first 2 weeks after, it drove me crazy. Like, especially because the narrative was I just got my ass whooped, and I went and I didn't even want to rewatch the fight because everyone was saying, "Oh, you got fucking smoked. You look like shit." I was like, God, I don't even want to watch the fight. And I know I would learn a lot from it. I still need to rewatch it a few times, but I rewatched the fight, and my biased, no, we'll say my unbiased, humble opinion. I mean, the judges gave me around 3 and 5. That means he won 2 and 4, which I'm not arguing. He for sure won round 2 and 4. I don't understand how you give me round 3, but not round 1. I thought round 1 was more of my round than round 3 even. I thought I won round 1, 3, and 5, let alone didn't get my ass kicked. Round 2 and 4, he definitely won. But, I rewatched the fight, and I stuffed 9 out of 15 takedowns. 60% of the takedowns I stuffed, more than Henry Cejudo, silver medalist in the Olympics. So I'm still a better wrestler than Henry. I stuffed 2 more takedowns in that fight. I win that fight. I had him running around holding his guts in the 5th round. The cardio machine, I won the 3rd and the 5th round. So 2 out of the last 3 rounds I won. So that was frustrating. The narrative around it. I mean, the thing is about this stuff is each week something else happens and you get brushed under the rug. So, I talked a lot of shit going into that fight. So I wasn't, I'm not surprised that I'm going to get a lot of hate on the internet. That's just how it works. So I'd say this far removed still bugs me a little bit because I know I'm better than that. I know I'm better than him. And that's what bugs me. But that's also what's going to drive me to beat him next.
By the way, I don't mean to be a stickler, but I think Henry won a gold in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
So right now you think you won, right? You feel this is not you trolling or anything. Like, you think you deserve the nod. Is that fair?
I thought if you judge it per round, damage per round, I thought 1, 3, and 5, I did more damage in those rounds. I've never felt so good after. I'm like, dude, how did I lose this fight? I could do anything I want right now. I feel fine. Like, it sucks that this guy's the champ. He's just so ugly. I'm like, how is this guy the champ? That's what drives me crazy. Damage per round, 1, 3, and 5. I won. That is what it is.
By the way, how was the whole experience? I mean, I know now in the aftermath, it's a bad memory, but just like everything, Noche, the walkout, you're a showman. They really upped it for your entrance in particular. I felt like it was the cherry on top of a great production. Are you able to look back with fondness, or were you able to even enjoy it, or were you so locked in that you couldn't even enjoy any of it?
The first time I even saw this inside the spear was the fight, right when I walked out. That was the first time I kind of got to experience it. I thought it was cool. Overall, it was a cool experience. I like the arena vibe more, like a T-Mobile or Miami, to where it's like full 360. I feel like it was a weird energy there. Not like, it was just different. A different energy than fighting in an Abu Dhabi or Miami or Boston or even T-Mobile. It was a different energy. I'd prefer the other energy than the Sphere, but as a fan, I don't know. I didn't get to sit and watch the Sphere play out, so it's hard for me to talk from that perspective. But from an actual me fighting, I'd rather fight in an arena like that.
Okay, wow. So next time out, just give you the regular NBA, NHL type arena.
Give me Miami. That's what I want next.
That's your spot. All right. Are they going to Miami? I'm assuming they are.
I don't know. I'm just trying to put this out there into the universe, man. I think, don't they go to Miami every year?
Yeah, these days it's huge business for them. Yeah. And so when would be ideal for you? What are your doctors saying? Like, realistically, when could you fight again?
I'm saying March or April. I think.
Wow.
Miami. Yeah. I'm doing everything I can do to get back in there. My mindset, my ambition, my drive, everything's at an all-time high. I want to get back in the gym. I want to get back to work. I want to get back on the mats. I want to get back to you know, I want to make that walk again, and I want Merab next. I know I'm better than him. I need to right that wrong. I think Miami would just be sweet. You know, that's where I got to prove to everyone. Everyone for 3.5 years, I kept saying, I'm better than Cheeto. I'm better than Cheeto. That was bullshit. In Miami this year, I got to prove that. So, you know, I would like to go back to Miami and prove that one again, rematch, Merab. That's what I want.
If you fight in March or April, that means you're probably starting your training camp like end of January, early February. That's not that far away. Is that doable? Like medically, like will you be cleared by then to start going full?
I mean, I think when you get surgery, like they're very cautious. They're very on the caution side of things, and they're kind of they're probably talking about average humans that do average stuff. I'm living my life to recover from this surgery. I'm doing everything I possibly can for my labrum to heal, and a lot of that's, you know, right now staying off it, and I have my PEMF machine. I have Dan Garner, my nutritionist, wrote me a meal plan, all the supplements, third-party tested, of course, all the supplements that I can be taking that's going to help increase this recovery time. So on a lot of it too, it sounds like some woohoo shit, but you lay down, you do a nice little meditation, you visualize that labrum healing and repairing, and you know, I think there's the mind's very powerful when it comes to things like that. And if you can, you know, if that's going to help my recovery, I'm going to do it. So I've been doing that. So yeah, I think in March, April, May, whenever they go to Miami, that's what I want.
You say the Merab fight, the rematch, with like conviction, with confidence. Do you know something that we don't know? Like, is the UFC interested in this? Have they told you that they're interested in running it back right away?
I haven't heard anything from the UFC, but it's like Merab versus Umar. Why is this not being announced? Why aren't they fighting in November? Why aren't they fighting in December? I think wasn't January Islam?
That's the word. That's the word. Yeah, that's the plan.
And February. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of. I feel like. I mean, Umar said he's down to take a fight. That's not Merab. If Merab wants to wait around, blah blah blah. So. I'm here. I'm ready to. Well, not ready to go yet.
Yeah,
but I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Do you think Merab would be down with this if they offer him you as opposed to Umar?
According to Instagram, he is down anytime, anywhere. So I think he would prefer me. I think he's actually terrified of Umar. If I'm being honest, not trying to troll, not trying to be goofy. I think Merab's scared of Umar and would rather fight me. He would probably look at me as an easier fight. So yeah, I think he would pick that if he could.
Did you guys really DM afterwards? He posted some stuff, but you never know. Is that real?
I did. Yeah, I told him. I said, push that rematch. And then I called him out on Twitter for ducking Umar. I thought it was a little funny troll.
Did you see any of the footage of him being celebrated back home? And if so, you know, that was once your title, not that long ago. How does that sit with you?
I mean, he's doing his thing. He's living his life. He's, you know, experienced what he's experienced. I'm not, you know, going to hate on it. It is what it is. Good for him. Celebrate while you can, because a few months from now, you know, he's not going to have that to celebrate. He's not going to be that guy anymore.
You alluded to people like, okay, you put yourself out there, you talk smack, and then people are going to hate on you on the internet. Do you feel everyone now piling on, getting their licks in? Are you sensing that? And if so, how do you handle that?
Oh yeah, I feel it. I don't feel it. I see it. I see it. I don't feel it. I understand how this works. You know, you go out there, say you're gonna knock someone out, and then you get fucking humped for 25 minutes. You know, it's the internet. I get the internet. It's yeah.
I saw you got community noted. How did you feel about that?
What's that? Oh, on Twitter?
Yeah, when you undefeated and then like the people report it as not being accurate. I couldn't even believe it got to that point.
He's ready.
Yeah, we're showing it right here. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. So that's.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's fair. What if I was referring to my boxing record of 1-0, Ariel?
That's true. That's a good point.
I am undefeated in boxing.
You still want to do that?
That's not on my mind. Merab's on my mind. I wanna get that one back. I'm gonna get that one back, and then me versus Umar is going to be massive.
Yeah, it would be massive. And so, I mean, obviously a lot of things. By the way, I can't help but notice top right. I think your right eyebrow. Yeah.
Oh.
Is that a crown?
This one?
That's a crown, right?
Oh, that's old. That's
I know.
where I knocked out Aljo August 19th. Remember? Second round, knocked him out, bounced his head off the canvas. Boom, couple more times. Boom, boom. Then I got that.
It kind of looks like our Uncrowned logo. I feel like this is that. You see our logo right there?
Oh shit! It does kind of.
Yeah. You're in honor.
I think I had this first though.
Maybe you inspired us.
Maybe.
No, I was just, are there any new ones there? Is the other one new? Dreamer?
No new tattoos. No new tattoos.
Dreamer. Who wrote that? Does that say Dreamer?
Yeah. I actually did that one, and I had it was in Miami. I don't remember exactly who did it.
But like, who actually, like, is it meant to be in that type of writing? Is that like your handwriting and someone copied it, or?
Not my handwriting. You couldn't read that shit. I write like a fucking 4-year-old. I have such bad handwriting. It's embarrassing.
Do you think you're done with the face tattoos, or do you think you want more?
I just kind of go with the flow, Ariel. If I decide tomorrow that I want a fucking dumb face tattoo, I probably will get it. And that's just kind of how my life is.
I respect it. By the way, you're wearing the W hat. Congrats on that deal. I don't think we spoke since that happened. And Jake Paul made some waves because he showed up to your fight incognito. Did you know that was going to happen?
I had no idea. I seen him the day, I think it was after weigh-ins. I seen him after weigh-ins, and he's told me he wasn't going. I was like, I mean, I knew he was banned or whatever, so he told me he wasn't going. But yeah, I had no idea he was actually going to do that. That's crazy.
When you saw it, what did you think?
It was an impressive outfit. I thought he did a great job.
It's crazy that he went to those lengths just to support you.
I know. I appreciate it. And, it didn't turn out to be a fucking great night, did it?
How is that going?
W's crushed. Have you had any, Ariel?
They actually sent me some. You know what? I will say, I really like the, and I'm not being paid. They just were kind enough to send me. Perhaps it was you that sent it to me. I don't know who.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but thank you if it was you. The body wash is quite nice. It has that like exfoliating those little balls. I don't know what those things are. I like the way it feels. Well, is it not balls?
No, I think they're just little. They're like little, almost. We'll call it I don't know if balls is the right word, but no, it is great. That is great. I appreciate it. What do you think about that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul coming up, Ariel?
Are you into it? Are you going to go?
I'll be there. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Are you into it?
I definitely don't hate it.
Okay.
I don't know if I love it. The only thing, obviously I like Jake. We're buddies. We're business partners. It's just Mike Tyson you just don't want to see Mike Tyson get hurt, but I don't know. It's a tricky one. I think just the all around, event will be really cool. It'll be something special. So I'm excited to go. Are you going?
I'm actually working it for Netflix. I'm working the broadcast, which is a huge honor. I mean, 200.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 270 million subscribers around the world. And that's, all the people who are just using it for themselves. Who knows who else is passing it around. In a 60,000 or so seat stadium.
Wow.
It's a pretty big deal.
That's massive. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. What was that, November what?
15th, the day before the MSG card here in New York. So it's a huge weekend of heavyweight fighting. And Jake is adding the weight. I don't know if you've seen him, but
thick boy.
Big
boy. Guy.
Yeah. Double C.
Double C.
And Tim Welch is joining us on our alternate commentary. Did you hear about this?
He did. He told me he was doing that. What is that, this weekend?
Yeah, for the PFL pay-per-view.
Who's on that?
That's Francis. AJ McKee against Paul Hughes, Johnny Eblin against Fabian Edwards, and Chris Cyborg finally returning against Larissa Pacheco.
Damn, Johnny Eblin was talking shit, but I can't talk shit because he fucked me up. So
Well, he was talking shit about you?
Yeah.
Why?
He said because when we were watching the fight, me and Tim and then my boys, we were watching the fight for the first time. And I was like, damn, I thought I won round 1, 3, and 5, and they agreed, and he said, that's what happens when you have a bunch of yes man around you.
Oh damn! So, where did he write this?
It was on Twitter. Someone showed me. I was like, man, I thought, and you can't even have your opinion anymore, man.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I saw people not saying, "Oh, you're working through it, the emotions, this and that." You just put it out there, though. Do you even read that stuff?
Hey, not a ton. I watched the fight. I genuinely thought I won 1, 3, and 5, and I expressed my opinion on the internet, and everyone else expressed theirs back. That's how it works.
It's all good. Nothing to get worked up about.
Yeah, nothing to get worked. Life's great. Life's good. The winter's about to hit in Phoenix. It's about to be beautiful out for the next however many months. I'm building a fucking 8,000 square foot house on my property.
Wow.
Tim and Mariah are buying a house right next to me, and then I bought the land in between us, so we're about to be neighbors and have like a 8-acre compound.
Holy shit.
Life's good. Yeah.
Is this the farm?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're building another property on the farm that you already live on?
Yeah.
Damn. And is that a house?
Good, Ariel. Yeah, I'm building a barn dominium. Have you ever seen those? A barn dominium?
Is that legit? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, barn dominium. They're beautiful.
Is it for animals?
No, it's like a barn style house. It's still a house. No animals will be in there except for me, my dog.
Yeah. And are there animals roaming? Like, are they?
We have chickens. Mariah and Tim have horses.
Wow.
We might get a dairy cow, some goats. So we'll probably get maybe like a little, like a mini horse, some shit like that.
Okay. If you need a goat, I could come over,
Nah. You're more than welcome to come up, pop down to Arizona anytime.
I appreciate that. Can I just ask you, and we'll let you go in 2 minutes. Jose Aldo just fought 2 weeks ago, and he's kind of fighting these names that aren't really, with all due respect, at his level. I know you have your sights set, but I would love to see a Sean O'Malley Jose Aldo fight. Is that ever of interest to you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that would be fucking crazy. Jose Aldo's a legend. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possibilities. I like having options. I don't know if the Merab fight's going to happen. I'm kind of pushing for it, kind of putting that out into the universe, hoping that happens. But, I mean, I'm here for big fights, and I want people to be entertained. I want people to have that feeling of, a big fight's around the corner. For me, Ilya versus Max right now is the fight that I just fucking can't wait for. I'm so excited for that fight. It's a big fight feel. And that's the type of fights I want to put on and give to the people. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
Okay. And by the way, can I just say, I was very happy to hear some very nice things said about you from Conor McGregor. I feel like is perhaps are the fences being mended? You guys were a good tandem, a good duo, and I heard him say some nice things about you. I don't know if you saw this. Have you seen this? Yeah, he said afterwards he was asked in some sort of live stream, and he said he liked you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You saw that? Are you guys good now? Because it got a little ugly there for a minute.
I'll always be one of the biggest Conor fans. He influenced my career so much. I would love to. I'd love to party with Conor someday, but we'll see if that ever happens. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather be friends with him than hate him.
Yeah.
Rather than not be friends with him. So, Conor's still the man. Even if I try to talk shit, and I still a huge fan.
I remember you guys at Texas Stadium. Like, where did you guys were in the suite together? You were chilling. You were having. Where did it all go wrong?
Conor started randomly throwing shots at me. I just out of nowhere, just talking shit, and I was like, "Damn, I can't. I got to retaliate." So I started talking shit back. But it definitely started with him just kind of throwing shade. But who knows if that was a late night, some under the influence of something. I don't know.
Okay, but you're open to a reconciliation.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. This time next year, where are you at? Where's Sean O'Malley at? October of 2025.
possibly gearing up for Sugar versus Umar. Might have already happened. Belt on my shoulder, chilling.
You're not going anywhere.
No, I turned 30 here in a few weeks, and I feel like I am yet to hit my prime. I think I have a lot more to do, a lot more to improve on, and I'm excited for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I want to continue to give everything to the sport, and I want to be active. I want to be active. I want to take advantage of these prime years.
Love it. Well, get well soon. Thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate it. Great fight. Fought your heart out. And hopefully we get to see it down the line sooner rather than later and you back with that belt. I wish that for you. So thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate you coming on our first episode. Wouldn't have been the same without you. So really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Fuck Merab.
All right. There he is, Sean O'Malley. Great stuff there from Sean. And happy to hear that perhaps a reconciliation can be made. Maybe we have mended the fences. That was on... I'm not sure what Conor does those like live streams. I think it might be for a gambling app or something like that. But it would be nice. It would be nice to see them back in each other's good graces. I mean, in this era, we're trying. I know a lot of people were talking about the. They were talking. They liked the Helwani High Road Helwani era coming to an end 3 years ago. We're trying to mend fences here. We're trying to bring positivity and peace to the world. That's what we're trying to do. And I do think he speaks with confidence and conviction. I do think he speaks with great confidence when he talks about that. So I feel like he knows something that we don't know. Let us see. And let's see how this whole situation plays out. The scene when Merab came back to Georgia was incredible. Really incredible. Good for him. Well done. And by the way, he did mention an individual who will be on our show tomorrow. Can I share some of the names? I mean, this is the thing now. We're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday now, guys, as far as the AH show is concerned. Tomorrow.
Share them.
Can I? What?
What do you mean, can you? It's up to you whether or not.
I don't know what the protocol is now.
Who's going to stop you from doing it?
You're right. I am alpha, Frank. Thank you. Thank you for that rampage.
No problem, mate.
Yeah. Tomorrow on the program, a man that Sugar just mentioned, the reigning defending UFC featherweight champion of the world, the one and only, the pride of Spain and Georgia, Ilia El Matador Topuria is going to be one of the gentlemen who will be joining us. In addition to Ilia, we'll be joined by El Diamante, the man who wears that hat when he fights, Dustin Poirier. Stay tuned for that. Oh, also, by the way, you want more? Manny Moicano. Renato Moicano is going to join us. Oh, you want more? We come out with the fucking big guns on the first week of the program. Kayla Harrison going to join us as well, coming off her big win in Salt Lake City over Caitlin Vieira. And in addition to that, my soon-to-be co-host, officially, Ariel Helwani, joining us live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He will join us as well. He is going to join us to talk about what transpired on Saturday at the Kingdom Arena. Yeah. A lot to discuss with that. He's still there. He's doing all the tennis stuff. There's a tennis tournament happening there. Rafael Nadal is retiring. Is that your guy? No, your guy. Is your guy Nadal, GC? Or is your guy Djokovic? I keep forgetting. Djokovic. But Djokovic's playing too.
Yeah.
Do you know about this? The
six kings. It's supposed to be like the 6 highest ranked tennis players.
But is it an official thing?
No, it's just
it's just a thing.
I mean, it's official for they're gonna play tennis, but like, are people gonna value the trophy? Probably not.
Who are the 6? Do you know off the top of your head?
Djokovic, Nadal, Sinner, Alcaraz, Holger Rune. I think one other one.
Holger Rune.
Yeah, Holger Rune.
I'm not familiar with him.
Who are you familiar with in tennis?
Alcaraz for sure, the pride of Spain.
Yeah. Marty Fish.
Alcaraz, Marty Fish, the man.
Retired.
I just got a funny text from Kayla. She might be watching right now, so that's why I was laughing. But I don't want to say it because I think our next guest is almost going to join us. Andre Agassi,
retired.
Legend. Andy Roddick,
Retired.
And of course Felix, the Canadian, FAA.
Azur Alas.
Yeah, he had a good run. Bianca Andreescu.
Wow, all the Canadians.
Yeah.
Grand
Know
Slam
yourself.
champion. Listen to you, man.
You just sent me something in our Slack. Is this? I don't know if this was just for me.
Yeah, no, a barn dominium.
Yeah, we have that.
No, it's just
I was told we could get things up right away these days.
Where are you told that? Because I certainly did not tell you.
I was
that.
told within an instant.
Maybe on
Who
day
the
2.
fuck is we?
Maybe on
Yeah.
day 2. We're all just living for day 2 right now. No, I wanted you to get an idea of what a barn dominium is.
Yeah, there's an actual barn dominium here.
Yeah, barn dough. They seem to be very popular things. They look great. If he has a get together, slide me an invite. It looks fantastic.
He seems to be in good spirits. Have you tried W?
No, not yet. I was hoping you were going to bring in some free samples.
No, I didn't get
The
it.
exfoliating beads.
Yes.
Just the plastic you're just rolling into your skin. I love it.
Is that bad?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Is it? Is it plastic?
What else would it be?
I don't know. I thought it was like some stuff that is like supposed to. I mean, now you've got
Listen,
me worried about
I haven't
it.
read the ingredient list. I don't know. I can't speak for anyone.
Now it's like those videos.
W's a great product, man. I bet it
It's
smells fantastic too. Your skin has been looking better. I've said since you started the W.
That's
your
a good
skin looks
point.
fantastic.
You have been saying that.
I'm not here to shame anyone's products.
No, listen. There's this thing where I keep seeing them on my Instagram where it's like, you ever cut your meat? So I didn't say what you thought I said you cut it and then there's little pieces of plastic that come into your food if you cut it on the cutting board, the plastic cutting board.
Like a plastic cutting
yes,
board.
I see this all the time and it's freaking me out.
Why,
Like,
you've
what
been using a plastic cutting board for the last
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're chock full of microplastics, brother.
It's tough. All right, let's move along now. Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, that is, joining us in about 30 minutes' time. But of course, as we were going through the list, we had to have Francis. And we wanted to have Michael. And Suga has been in the news. But there was one no-brainer. There was an absolute no-brainer. And I told the guys this. Win or lose in Utah, she had to come on. She had to be a part of the show. Here's the problem. She wins the belt. She makes history. First member of the Parlay Pals to fight for a UFC title. She then makes double history. First member of the Parlay Pals to win a UFC title. She pulls it off. Never doubted her. Never questioned her. By her side all the way. We talked about throwing our journalistic integrity out the window. We talked about being unbiased. We talked about all this stuff. Or being biased, I should say. And we're happy. We're loving how things turned out. One of our own. She's one of our own. Doing it for the little person. What a story. 2 years after the fight in Dallas. We go to bed. The vibes are high. They're immaculate. And we wake up to like a knife in the heart, a text saying that I have let her down. And then there is great concern. There's great worry that she will not be a part of the first show. But true to her word, pro that she is, mensch that she is here. The new, reigning, defending UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion, the one and only, your friend and mine, a member of the Parlay Pals, the Venezuelan vixen herself, Julianna Peña. You did it. Woo! We never doubted you.
Whatever, you never doubted me. I saw those tweets. I was so upset at you, and you're lucky. You are so lucky that I like you guys, because seriously, I was considering to never work with you guys again.
I felt so bad. I woke up to a text and I felt like it was like a knife in the heart that I had let you down. And there's a great difference, Julianna. You must know this. There's a difference between believing and just keeping it real. And I was trying to offset our bias towards you by keeping it real, and it blew up in my face.
Dude, where's your loyalty? You're supposed to be loyal to the soil. I'm your girl, and you freaking hanging me out to dry on freaking Twitter of all places. Like, talk about knife in the heart. I was crying when I read those tweets.
You hit me with the screen grab, too. Did you see that yourself, or did someone, be honest, someone send it to you and say, this is your guy right here? Be honest.
Yes. They're like, look what Ariel said. And I was like, oh, I had to text you immediately because I was livid. My blood was boiling.
Know.
I was like, wow, Ariel did me dirty.
I'm sorry. It was probably Bilal, wasn't it? It was Bilal. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Listen.
Don't get me started. Do not start something you're not going to be able to finish right now.
Listen. I have gone back. And I have atoned for my sins. I don't know if you heard our partner, but I have said to the world that upon further reflection, watching it, I thought you won that fight 5 rounds to none. I thought it was a whitewash. I thought it was a complete domination. I just want the world to know this. I've gone back and fixed this problem. Do you accept my apology?
Don't be a smartass. I'm not some person that obviously can't handle the truth. I can. However, when you throw less and land more, when you're giving the other girl a bloody nose and a goose egg on her head, when you're taking her down, when you're freaking making her freaking eyes get as big as plates because you're hitting her so hard and rocking her shit that she wants to freaking find a way out of there, you can't tell me that I lost the fight. I will for sure say that I lost round 4. I got dropped and I was in a submission attempt, but I got back to my feet. And then when I got back to my feet, even all of those punches were harder and more significant in round 4. So yeah, I got dropped, whatever. I'll give her that round. But round 1 through 3 and round 5, obviously I am biased. I'm going to say I won that fight. And I'm so sick of all these people trying to make me feel like I didn't win. I don't know who I pissed off, but I'll tell you, the one thing that I think made everybody so upset at me was the elevation thing. They couldn't get off of the elevation. She didn't train the elevation. They just want to be right. They just want to be right. Be like, yep, see, she's gassing out. She's petering out because she didn't train an elevation. And it's like, stop with the elevation. Rewatch the fight without all of the commentary bias, and you will see clearly that I won that fight.
And so which round specifically do you think you won?
1 through 3 and 5.
Oh, wow. So you think you won?
5 was close. I'll give her that. 5 was close. I'll give her that. But again, my strikes are landing more. They're more significant. And she's throwing punches in the wind. I'm parrying it all. Literally, they don't get through. It's just it's like that one fight with Macy Barber. I can't remember who she fought, where she's just punching in the air at nothing. It's just one of those things where it's she's punching in the air. It's not landing. Whenever I punch, I land. Get the hell out of here with those stats. What is that?
No, that's not the stat. That's a scorecard. That's backing you up. That's the scorecard.
Which somebody said one of these judges in the round that I took her down that I lost that round. Let me see if I can see that.
Well, Sal D'Amato had it the first 3 rounds for you, so he agrees with you, and then he gives her the 4th, which you agree with, and then you said the 5th was up in the air, but he gives it to you. Then you have Derek Cleary, who gave her the 1st. 2 and 3 you, and then 4 and 5 her. And then, of course, you have the great Mike Bell, who once again agreed with Sal. First 3 for you, last 2 for her. That's how you won.
Yeah. So I would say that all 3 of them have round 5 wrong.
Interesting.
I won round 5.
And so does the backlash, does the people saying, oh, you didn't deserve this, has that soured this for you? Have you been able to separate the two?
The thing that irritates me the most is when you know what you're capable of doing, but you weren't able to show that. And I think that for the first time, I was trying to beat this person at their own game. She thinks she's a boxer. She thinks she's a striker. So I'm I'm going to beat you in the striking, and I'm going to make you feel, my power on the feet so that you know that you thought you were a boxer, but you're actually facing somebody who has better striking than you. And so I think that at the end of the day, my mistake is not sticking to the bread and butter of how I've won a majority of my fights and how I've been able to be dominant in a sport, which is taking people down into the ground. And I rewatched the fight and I'm why didn't I ever try to clinch? Why didn't I ever try to, get her taken down in the 4th or in the 5th, whatever. I just never did. I was I'm just going to stand here and just keep punching you in the face just because I want to prove to myself that I'm a better striker than you. And I think that was my error because I wasn't even that tired. And I felt like I could have pushed more, and I really didn't push as hard as I feel like I could have. And I think that there's an air of fear that everyone was playing in my head all week long of, not training at elevation. So I was like, don't gas out. I think I had her in a submission attempt to rear naked choke. And I just remember Mayra Buena-Silva gassing out and choking so hard. And then she's freaking laying on the mat like this, during the rest of their fight. And so I was thinking of Mayra Buena-Silva gassing out during the chokes. And I was thinking of being at elevation and maybe that this is a real thing that I, didn't take into consideration and that I should have. So fighting those two demons were the reason why I feel like I played it very safe in there. And I don't think that I risked as much as I have in the past. Usually I'm like a wild banshee and just freaking going crazy and just trying to freaking be on you like white on rice. And in this fight, I think that I was just trying to prove a point that I could outstrike the striker and that I didn't need to try to take her down because I can beat her where she is the best. And I do feel like I showed that. Like, I do feel like all of my punches were more significant in terms of damage. Like I said, only one of us had a bloody nose in there. Only one of us had a goose egg on their face.
What about the layoff? I was wondering if that was going to...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And there's so many things that people don't know. They think that I just broke my ribs. They have no idea the truth of actually what has delayed me for so long. So
Tell us what happened.
Oh, I can't. I'm not going to. You're gonna have to pay me money. I'm doing a tell-all. I'm
damn.
Going to,
for real?
Have to write it in this, autobiography because they have no idea the amount of crap that I have been through in order to claw back up this mountain. So it's just, I'm just gonna be quiet, let them think what they want. Get a little Vin Diesel in there, whether you win by an inch or win by a mile, a win is a win. And the name of the game is to pass the class. So order is restored. I have my belt back and now I can just focus on the next thing. And that's in the past. Forget it.
Okay. So considering that nightmare of a 2-year stretch, 2+ years, what is it like? Do you look at the belt? Did you ever doubt that you would get it again? Does it feel surreal? I mean, it's a crazy journey that you've been on since that fight against Amanda, and to now be back as the queen of the bantamweights, does it make you emotional? Did you cry afterwards? How did you process all of this?
I cried in the background when I was getting pictures with Mike Roach. You know how he always takes the family photos and stuff. That's when I cried. I was crying for quite a bit after that. But I would say that I wouldn't necessarily call it surreal because when I walk around in my everyday and when I look in the mirror and when I go places or when I walk around, I'm like, I am the champ. I am the champion. I've always thought that. I've always felt that. You know what I mean? So I don't have these belts on display all over the house and trying to throw them up in people's faces. It's I don't need to do that because I know that I am on the inside the champion. So it was just for me, just needing to get to the fight and needing to just let them get my hand raised so that I can, have that gratification for myself and say, yes, I am the champion, just like I knew I was, and now everybody knows again, and so it's all great. But it was one of these things where it was just a matter of time before they gave me my belt back, and I knew that all along leading up into the fight.
You never doubted it. You never thought, will I not come back? Will I not be fit enough? Will I not get this chance?
Oh, I can assure you that I'm always doubting, can I make it to the fight? As you guys have seen in my history, injuries and surgeries and stuff like that as what has been prolonging my career all these times, and staying healthy and actually making it into the octagon is always the hardest part. It's not my opponent. It's not the person that I'm fighting that is a worrisome for me. It is, can I make it through the camp without breaking down? Can I make it to the octagon without freaking going in there like a bag of bones with broken everything? And that's always my biggest obstacle through all of my fight camps. And it always has been, and it always will be. It's me versus me every single day.
Okay, so how were you going into this one? How was the body? How did it hold up?
I mean, it held up, but I definitely can say that I needed to make sure that I was very safe in training because, normally I'm balls to the walls, but you can't be like that anymore. It's got to be, train smarter, not harder. You have to make sure that you're doing the recoveries and getting the massages and everything like that. So every day camp was great. I will say 2 weeks before the fight was really scary because I was doing some promotional stuff for Real American Beer, and the move that they had me do actually I don't want to say injured me or got me hurt, but like I was like, oh no, like the whole week I was really contemplating, is my body going to hold up in there? Is it going to tweak? Is it going to mess up? And it didn't. And I want to thank Wayne Gregory for that, and the UFC PI team, because they worked on me. I was just waiting to get to fight week just so that I could have the PI team work on me every single day. And thank you, Bobby, with the UFC PI, for freaking giving me the shockwave, massaging me for an hour, you know, and making sure that I was like physically fit. And then right before I went out there, my coach Wayne came in and he held my hands and we said a prayer for my body. And when I won, I was like, it was the prayer and the PI, and thank you so much for praying for me. You know, like obviously I'm real, conspiracy theorist and, superstitious in a way where I think that like it was the prayer that like made me win, you know, like God is like, giving me blessings.
By the way, what did they do in the commercial that hurt you?
I did a takedown, like I did like a double leg takedown, and I don't normally do those kinds of takedowns. You know, I'm not like some, shooter like that. So it hurt me, and it was against a man. And so it was like a big, like running into like a wall, you know what I mean? And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And so it was one time, and then they needed to get it a second time, and then they needed to get it a third time. So like after the third one, I like walked away and I was like, oh no, this is not good. And so I was battling that injury leading up to the fight for sure.
You win the fight. They go split screen. Kayla's sitting there. Kayla Harrison, who beat Caitlin Vieira, and you kind of you decide not to address her. You spoke only of Amanda. I don't think you ever like spoke of her in that moment. Why did you do that? Why did you not talk about her?
Let's take it back. Okay, let's take it back to me booing Amanda Nunes when she retired in Canada. Mm-hmm. I knew that she was retiring too early. I knew that she didn't want this third fight with me, and that she was like literally blessing in disguise that she didn't wait for me and fought Irene Aldana instead and then retired. Then when, Kayla was going to fight Holly, she gives a victory speech to Joe, and she never mentions Amanda's name, so much to the point where it's like she's talking all this smack about Amanda the whole time, and then she gets her first win in the UFC, and Amanda's in front of her TV being like, what was that? You didn't say my name? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And it's like she's like Voldemort in the MMA world with these girls. No one wants to say her name, but I know somebody who wants to say her name, and I know somebody who is only saying her name, and that person is me. And you can see that I'm right, because the next day she made a video shaking her ass and tagging Dana, and I miss you and I want to come back. So they give me a call. They say she wants to face the winner of you versus Kayla. And so she will come back, but she's waiting to fight the winner. So she thinks I'm going to lose to Kayla. And when I beat Kayla, then she's going to say I stay retired.
You think so?
Kayla wins, yeah. But if Kayla wins, then she's going to come out of retirement and look like some hero. Because the reality is this, and I know this for a fact, she feels that she doesn't have anything to prove against me, and she feels that she hates Kayla more than she does want to prove something and fight me for a trilogy. So she doesn't. First fight, I took her pride. Second fight, I took her soul. And she walked out of there with freaking elephantitis on half her face, crutches, in a wheelchair. She knows that it's not going to be some walk in the park, easy night in the office. She knows that she's going to, like, no amount of money that they pay her is going to be worth the amount of damage that she's going to have to sustain in this fight, because I'm not going away. And she knows that. And so, again, I know she wants to fight. It was the right call out. And it makes me so mad that DC was like, oh, she dropped the ball. She dropped the ball. Really? I dropped the ball the next day while she's shaking her ass and tagging Dana and saying, please call me. I know she wants to fight. I know she retired too early. And so does Dana. And so does the promotion. It's just, that is the fight that entices me to want to get out of bed every morning. All these fights make me want to get out of bed every morning. Truly, I'm blessed that I get to do this. But what I'm saying is, I want the big fights. If I wasn't going to, I want to fight Ronda Rousey. Girl was freaking running for me for years too. I want the fights that are going to generate the most interest, the most pay-per-views, the most biggest fights that you can create. And a trilogy fight with Amanda Nunes, settling the score, to me, is the biggest fight that you can make. However, and I didn't have time to say this to Joe, will I fight Kayla? Yes. Am I going to fight Kayla? Yes. Am I running from Kayla? No. But at the end of the day, it's like, who are you gonna, get your body in a train wreck first with, for Amanda or for Kayla? And it's like, if you ask me, it's like, no, the Amanda fight's a bigger fight than Kayla. But I'll take Kayla too, whatever. Let Amanda sit there and cower away like she normally does. And when I'm done with Kayla, then we'll have our victory dance. But do not be surprised when she says that, why are you even calling me out, girl? I'm retired. I'm like, dude, shut up, dude. I'm so sick of her, seriously.
I have to say, you and Kayla at the press conference were magic. I mean, the buildup is going to be tremendous. You guys were incredible.
It is so refreshing to finally have someone that can string a sentence together and that speaks the language and that understands the game of freaking, we are fist fighting in a steel cage, and it is important for people to be interested in it. And so, like I said, Block of Wood Raquel, the only reason why she started talking crap out of nowhere is because she's realizing that that's what you need to do to gain interest for the fight. And same thing with Ketlin Vieira saying that, she needs to start talking more. And of course, Kayla, she's like a freaking Saturday Night Live skit. So it's great.
Why is she a Saturday Night Live skit?
She's just a clown. You know what I mean? She's just like clowny, And so what I'm saying is, you're right. It is great to finally have somebody who is going to banter back and forth with me. Now all of these girls are starting to understand what you need to do. And it's like they're taking a page out of my book in order to do it. And that's great. Finally, somebody who's going to play ball.
I only have one wish. Please, if you can, I would love to do like a virtual face-to-face with you two on this show. You and Kayla. Would you do, are you down? She's on the show tomorrow. But I want to ask you first as the champ. Would you come on at the same time as her? That's my only wish. That's the only thing I want in life.
Well, it depends on the time. And
oh, geez.
What day is it tomorrow? Tuesday?
No, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I want her to have her own interview tomorrow. But down the line.
Oh, I see. Okay. We'll talk. I'll
wow.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. The only problem is that this girl's always cutting me off, and she thinks that like being the louder one is the one that wins. It's like, whatever. And at the end of the day, I was fighting Raquel. Like, I need to waste my energy on the things that matter and the things that are important. She's not important right now. Now she is. And now I'll talk to her all day long and we can freaking, hash it out, whatever, talk that crap. But before, it was like, my only focus is on Raquel. I don't need to waste my energy on dealing with you and your freaking clown talk. I'll deal with that later. Now it's later, and now is the time to do that. So yes, I would absolutely welcome that.
What did you think of her performance against Caitlin?
What did you think of it?
I thought it was dominant. I thought she dug deep. I thought, we saw her bleed. She came back very dominant and explosive in the third round. I thought it was a very, very solid win. I was impressed. I thought we learned a lot about her.
Sure. I also think that, in that fight, you can see that she was gassing out a bit. And in order to fight me, you have to fight for 25 minutes. Those are championship rounds. You also have to make championship weight. And she had said that, to get to 136, that last pound is God helping her make that last pound. She's going to have to cut one more pound after that and come down to 135.0. And I do believe that her gas tank is going to be an issue. And so, is she going to throw me on my head? Probably. But am I going to go away after one throw? No. And she knows that. So her, she can talk all the crap that she wants. She can say whatever she wants. But at the end of the day, honey, I am not afraid of you. You are not some oogity boogity person who can't be beat. I see you bleed the same blood as me. I seen you lose in the PFL, and that's when you came running over to the big leagues. Like, you are in the big leagues now. You were playing over there in the AAAs. You were over there in the minors. Now it's the real shit. Now is where we find out what you're freaking made of. Can you make the weight? Can you fight for 25 minutes? And I guarantee you, I will not go away. If she thinks she's just going to take me out in the first round or the second round or the third round, like, Holly Holm or Ketlin Vieira, she is sorely mistaken. And I'm just so sick of her trying to act like she's some freaking boogeyman. It's like, I'm not afraid of you. Plain and simple. I am not afraid of you.
There are some people who say you got to make 35.0, like that. I'm not entertaining 0.1, 0.2, even if it's a non-title fight. No way. Are you saying that? Like, if she doesn't make 35.0 or 34.9, you know what I mean? You're not going to entertain any sort of catch weight type of situation.
I don't know. Look, she said leading up to this fight with Ketlin that she was going to make championship weight at 135 just in case me or Raquel, get
Withdraw,
injured.
yeah.
Yeah. She didn't do that. So it was kind of like, where are you at with that 135? Number one. And number two, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. She's a consummate professional, and I have no doubt in my mind that she will make 135. However, you can already tell that it's taking a toll on her because now she needs time off, which is the first fight. The first fight is actually making the camp, making the commitment, making it to 135 and actually signing on the dotted line. And right now she's saying, time out. I need to go on a sabbatical. And that to me is like already a loss.
So what are you hearing? So it sounds like you just said earlier, they said Amanda's going to fight the winner of your fight. So you made the pitch. They said she's going to fight the winner, right? And when realistically could we get you versus Kayla?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. I think that that's something that, the machine and, my dogs, my agents and everything like that, we're going to have to be going back and forth for a while and make sure that this is going to be the best case scenario for me. And so, that is a bridge that we can't cross yet. And now
you're getting all corporate on us. You're tired.
No, but whenever I text Hunter, they're like, chill. Just enjoy the win. Enjoy the win. Just like relax. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I'm getting right now is just kind of like.
When would you like to return? When would you like to return? If it was up to you, you're the champ. You get to call the shots. You have to wait for Raquel, right? When would you like this to happen?
I don't know. I think maybe International Fight Week maybe would be a good time, but
okay.
We'll see.
Summer.
We'll see. There's some things that I need to do on my end, and
like what?
I want to do those things.
What are we talking about?
And you can figure that out in the tell-all book when I get that.
When's this coming out?
I'm looking for a ghostwriter.
Oh, I know someone.
Send them.
Okay.
Please.
We'll talk offline. You really want to do this though? You really want to write a book?
Oh, I think that yes. In my head, I'm like, Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian Show ain't got shit on me. I'd freaking have an amazing show.
Okay. All right.
That's how I think. But I'm kidding because I'm not trying to shit on Kim at all. I love the Kardashians. I love Kim K. But I definitely feel like I have some story to tell and some wisdom to give. And if I can help anybody through the journey that I have been on since 2008, I think that, that could definitely be something that I'm interested in the future. Right now, I am focused on being healthy and making it through a fight camp and raising my daughter first and foremost. The tell-all book will come later. I'll have time for that stuff later, but right now it's time to fight.
Can you rate these dance moves for us?
Sure.
Real quick. I want to know what you're thinking when you see.
Oh.
I
can't believe you won't look for me. Oh, we won't look at you. I've suffered too much beyond what I deserve. Shush your mouth. You know why she wanted to retire? So that she could get on those roids and not get caught. Look at how big she is.
What do you think? Nice? Good?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I've seen some of her little videos of like and she can do it. So she's really good at that kind of stuff. So I think that's great. Those dance moves obviously are horrible.
Okay.
But the message is what is important. And just like I said, it's like I'm like Nostradamus over here. She's not done and she wants to come back. She's doesn't have a purpose outside. Like, who is she outside of fighting? She doesn't know. She's struggling with trying to find this identity of what her life is now after fighting. And that's a very hard thing. And it's not anything against her personally. You look at, people in the Marine Corps that get out of the Marines, or you look at fighters that retire and they're done, or any sort of, professional athlete, their identity is being a fighter. Their identity is being a professional athlete. When that's done, it's kind of like you have to find yourself all over again. Like, who am I? What is my purpose now? And I think that she's been struggling with that. And that is why you see this video of her shaking her ass and begging Dana White to give her a call. You know, it's for a reason. It's because she knows that she's got that itch.
Two last things, and number one, the biggest question of them all. Now that you're a champ, now that you're the queen, now that you're on top of the world again and the belle of the ball, are you now too big for us, the program? There's a lot of concern back there. You know, we're a new outfit now, so we don't have our sponsorships lined up just yet, but the Parlay Pals were an institution, and there's some concern that you're now too big time for us. I have tried my best to squash those concerns, but it would be nice to hear it from you.
First off, you said now that I'm the queen again. I've always been the queen, okay? And I'm always going to be the queen, so don't get it twisted. Second off, the Parlay Boys.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you what, those Parlay Boys were making me stress big time. Every week I'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? Who am I going to pick? I think I can manage making a pick. I think I can join the boys again. But I was like questioning. So now that you're here on this thing, your new outfit,
we're working.
You guys are back on with the parlay.
We're working on it. We're working. But there was some concern. I think, Conor, am I allowed to bring up some of the concerns, or is this
what concerns?
I want to hear it directly from the horse's mouth.
Well, the double tap DM. I mean, there were some concerns. No, I mean.
Oh, there was the double tap DM. I wish her the best of luck. Just got double tapped.
He just got double tapped. He didn't. He felt like there wasn't. It felt frosty.
That hurts my heart. I'm so sorry, GC. There's so many people hitting me up all the time, and I am like trying to like not be on my phone with the screen time as much as possible, because I just like every time I look at the phone, it's like die, bitch. So like, I'm so sorry. I apologize, GC. Wait, so you're saying that because I double tapped, you don't want me to be a part of the boys anymore?
No. There was concern that you wanted out. We want you. We called you. We wanted you. That's why I felt so bad. We want you now more than ever. We're out there on the front lines trying to make you an official part of it. We want you to get paid. But there was the double tap left us a little bit befuddled.
You like me. You really, really like me. It makes me feel so nice. Of course, I want to be a part of the boys. Then if you guys are working this outfit and going back to the Parlay Boys, I'm an honorable member. Hello, of course I want in.
GC, you good with that?
Oh yeah, I'm great with it. I actually have to Venmo Juliana, maybe $5-10 because I'm the only Parlay Pal that actually put cold hard cash down on it.
Thanks, New York Rick and Mysterious Frank.
Yeah, they didn't have the faith. That was
time out. If only one of us went on air and said that they scored round one for Juliana and had her 3-2. I mean, I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to point any fingers. I'm not going to say any names. But there was only one person who scored the fight for you.
I also didn't
out of everybody.
tweet anything saying about anything about rounds or anything.
Yeah, whoever didn't tweet, what was that? Was that Mysterious Frank or was
that was Frank?
Yeah, thank you, Frank. Thank you. Obviously, all of the freaking MMA media hates my guts because I saw that it was like a post is like every single one scored it against me. I'm like, what did I do to you guys? Why do you hate me so much? No wonder why Ronda was always so freaking upset at the media.
Is it possible they were just calling it like they saw it? Why does it have to be a bias?
They need to go rewatch it without all that freaking garbage commentary and look at the significant strikes. I threw less and I landed more and they were harder shots. Rewatch it.
Who are you most mad at? Who was biased in the commentary?
Everybody told me that the commentary was garbage. So when I did rewatch the fight, I didn't even turn it up.
Wow. Okay.
I know that Joe Rogan embarrassed me. He's sitting there behind me, like when they call it for me, and his eyes are like, oh, I can't believe this is ridiculous. I'm just like, Joe, dude, like, I thought you were my boy, man. It's like heartbreaking to like hear these things. Like, you know what? DC told me before the fight, you're gonna win. And I think that you need to go bum rush her and just take her out in the first round. And like, I truly believe that because I didn't go like push the pace like psycho Juliana in the first round, that they were just upset that I didn't go do what they wanted me to do. And they were upset that I didn't train at elevation like they wanted to be right about. And so I just think that obviously, and you know what's sadder about all of those guys commentating against me is like, man, I thought that we were cool, dude. Like I thought that like, and obviously they got a job to do, but it's just, heartbreaking because I want everyone to be on my side. And when they like look at you and they talk to you and they're friendly with you and they say all these great things about you, but then publicly on the freaking broadcast, they're just trashing you. It just
maybe listen to it. Maybe listen to it and don't listen to the people who are saying and maybe you'll feel otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right.
That's best.
I need to do that. I just haven't yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to because I do think you could be right. I think people are just being protective.
Yes.
That, but if I listen to it,
I don't think it was biased. I really don't.
Yeah.
Last thing, Kayla Harrison on the show tomorrow. She texted me right before you came on. Anything you want to say to her? Any message to Kayla that we can play to her tomorrow?
Don't interrupt me, and be nice.
Okay, that's it. I wasn't expecting it to be that short and sweet, but I'm not sure she'll oblige. Be nice.
Okay, well then, if you want to throw barbs, we can throw barbs. I'll hit you as hard as you want to be hit.
Legit, I don't know if there's a fight that I'm looking forward to the build-up more than you versus Kayla.
Well, let's make it happen then. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Julianna, thank you so much for being back in our lives. We've missed you so much. I'm so happy that we were able to mend the fences. And I'm so happy that you were able to do this because I did remind you 9 times leading up to it. And then, of course, this morning, everyone confirmed for the 9th time. And Julianna then tells me there's a scheduling conflict, which was the last thing I wanted to hear on this first episode with all the technical problems. So thank you. Thank you.
I can't even see what time it is. I got to go.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Julianna.
Bye, guys. Bye. GC, text me. We'll get these picks done.
Yeah, you got it.
There she is, the queen, Julianna Peña, the champion of the women's bantamweight division. What a time. What a time we are having, guys. It's like we never left, right? It's like we never left. And yes, there is one guest left. And yes, as I said on the very top of the program, I wanted to start the show one way and I wanted to end the show one way because a lot of people say that it all kind of stops and starts in fighting with the heavyweight champion of the world. And in our particular world, this pie can be sliced in multiple different directions, of course, because Francis Ngannou left the UFC and never lost that belt and went to box for a couple of fights. He is still considered by many, including myself, as the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. He returns to action on Saturday. On the UFC side of things, of course, John Jones fought for the vacant title against Ariel Helwani. He beat Ariel Helwani in March of 2023, and he has not fought since. He hopefully returns to action in a little over a month's time right here in New York City against Stipe Miocic. In the midst of that period, a man has emerged, and he has had his own ups and downs, but now has returned in full force to become the interim heavyweight champion officially, but in my eyes, the real heavyweight champion. And the last time we did a show, it was right before his return to the cage. The last time we did a show, it was right before his big showdown back home in England, the card being built around him and Leon Edwards, the rematch of the fight that ended very, very quickly and unceremoniously, the rematch against Curtis Blades. He blew right through the competition unscathed, and now we await his next assignment. Obviously, we hear that he's going to be the backup fighter, but we all want to see the showdown come 2025. You know that we had to end today's program with the pride of the United Kingdom, the pride of Great Britain, the pride of England, the pride of Manchester, the pride of Wigan himself. Tommy Aspinall is back. Our good mate, Tom, who did in fact text me a week or so after the fight saying, where's the interview? Where's the chat? You felt empty, did you not? You felt like something was missing in the victory tour. You needed the chat. Here we are 3 months later. Welcome back to the program, Tom.
3 months I've been waiting to come on this thing. I mean, everybody's life is empty without you, Ariel. Let's be honest. But here we are. I'm not complaining. You got the new show and everything. Congratulations. How's it gone? How's the first show?
It's been amazing. Everyone came with bells on. You were the only one, by the way, in the booking of the show said you needed to see the full lineup before you agreed to join, right? You wanted to know if it was up to your standards. You've changed a little bit since becoming the real heavyweight champion, yes?
Everything changes. If there's one thing you can guarantee in this life, Ariel, it's change.
That is true.
And, yeah, I wanted to know. I wanted to know who else was on. That's all. I'm an MMA fan too, just like everybody else. So I just wanted to know if it was going to be a good show or not.
It's been a great show, and it's great to end with you. And by the way, what about this shirt here? Is this new merch? I like this shirt.
This is new merch.
I like it.
This is new merch. You can find this on dosprack.com.
Oh, you're working with Dosprack? I love him.
I'm working with Dosprack. Look, it's even got my face on the. It's even got my biceps on the t-shirt. Look at that.
It's fantastic. Dosprack, I didn't know he made stuff like that. His drawings are incredible.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, so I've got quite a few designs over there. If you want to go and check it out, Ariel. I supported you with the t-shirt. I don't see it being reciprocated.
I mean, I thought it would be a nice touch. You wearing the shirt, the first guy to wear the shirt on the show. I thought it would be a nice touch.
I've got it just over there.
No, listen, I want you to support your stuff. I'm seeing a photo right now of you and your old man, Mr. Aspinall, there rocking the shirts with Dosprack. You know who's probably foaming at the mouth looking at this shirts is our guy, your biggest fan, Conor, back there. He goes through great lengths to get your merch here to
I
us.
actually already ordered one.
He already ordered one, he just said.
He's already ordered one.
Yes.
Go on, Conor. We love it. We absolutely love it. But yeah, there's quite a few different designs on there. There's some nice stuff. I also paid homage to see. So is that on screen right now?
Yeah, this is on screen. Look at us.
The one bottom in the middle that is paying homage to the greatest rock band of all time, Oasis. And I actually sent one to Noel Gallagher last week, who is obviously one of the lead singers of Oasis. So
wow,
good stuff. Good stuff.
Wait a second. Are you going to the reunion? Are you going to any of the shows?
Oh, come on. Is water wet? It's like asking that. Ariel, of course.
Wow.
Of course I'm going.
What, you're good mates with Noel Gallagher?
Me and Noel, we're like that these days.
Wow. How did that happen?
Well, he's a UFC fan. His son's a UFC fan. Obviously, two Manchester guys. My son is now. My son's a big Manchester City guy.
Ah.
So, and Noel actually does stuff with City as well. Like he's been involved with Man City for the longest time. So, yeah, we know each other through that.
Who's the one that played at Wembley when I was there for AJ? Noel or Liam?
That was Liam.
How do you feel about Liam?
Well, I like both, obviously. Yeah, I like Oasis and getting back together. So everyone's happy, like in Manchester, in the UK, but in Manchester especially, like this is a massive, massive deal.
Which one are you going to? Which show?
Well, I can't be telling people that.
Oh, geez. All right. Are you going to be on the stage?
No, they've got so I think they're doing two different places in the UK. They're doing Heaton Park, which is in Manchester, and I think they're doing Hyde Park in London.
Wow.
Or it might be somewhere else in London, but I'm going to the Manchester one.
By the way, there have been times where I've WhatsApped you like, oh my gosh, did you see that goal from Phil Foden, from Erling Haaland? You have proudly told me not only do you not care, you don't even know who these people are. Now you're telling me your son is a Man City fan. Does that mean he has finally converted you?
Listen, Ariel, as I said at the beginning of the interview, there's one thing you can guarantee in this life. It's change. And listen, I've never been into football all my life. Like, I'm from a massive, massive football community, football area. Everybody who I knew growing up is into football in some respect, and I've never been into it. Now, at the tender age of 31, I've jumped ship. I'm in.
Wow.
Like, I've been to a City game now. My son actually met all the players.
Wow.
It was great. He met Haaland. He met Phil Foden. He met De Bruyne. He met everybody.
Wow.
I actually didn't meet anybody, but he did.
Where were you?
That was good. So Manchester's torn in half when it comes to football. Obviously, Reds and Blues. And my area, most people from my area actually support United. But if the kid's supporting City,
of course,
I ain't gonna. I've got to be with him. If I don't support anybody, the kid's supporting City. I'm a City guy.
So where were you when you met these players?
So basically, they give them like a full experience. So I think the game kicked off at like 4 or 5 p.m. and they had the kids there from like 1. So I had to take the kids, and then we had like a dinner and stuff, and they take the kids like for a full day of like going in the changing rooms, meeting the players.
Wow.
Like mascots, they go on the pitch with the players. They meet the managers, the other team, everything. It was fantastic. It was amazing.
That's incredible. Well, I'm glad to see that you have jumped on the football bandwagon. It's a pretty popular sport, I hear, over in England, so it's nice to see. And you mentioned change, by the way, a couple times already. I can't help but notice, correct me if I'm wrong, are the chompers a little bit different? Have those changed too?
Got some new chompers. Look, I got a close up on that.
What is going on? What's happening?
Bad light in this place, but yeah, the new Nashers, mate. New Nashers are in.
Look at you. You got the Darren Till, huh?
Isn't that? You put a picture of my teeth on the thing. That was uncalled for. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people.
That's an incredible difference, by the way. Dr. James over there.
You know what? I never thought my teeth were that bad until I got them done. And I'm like, oh, my other teeth are quite shit. But now I'm happy with them. You know what I mean? I'm only a few days in. I've only just got them.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm happy with them. Big shout out to James, the dentist. Fantastic guy. And, yeah, I think I like them. I like them.
Any change? Like, can you not eat certain things? Is it painful? It sounds painful getting those.
No, honestly, it's been really good. I was actually under the, what do you call it? You're not under the knife. Under the
anesthesia.
No. I was awake. Awake. But like I was in the dentist chair, is what I'm trying to say. I was in the dentist chair for 7 hours, 8 hours.
No way.
Yeah, it was a long day because I got my full top and full bottom done.
Oof.
Both of them. But yeah, it was worth it. Like it was a great. I feel good. I feel like I can smile. And no one's going to be looking at my ugly teeth.
You look fantastic. You look. I even think your facial hair changed a little bit. No, I mean, did you shave this part?
Yeah, sometimes I go a bit shorter with the stature a little bit.
Nah, you look great. You're glowing right now. You're absolutely glowing. It might be all the petrol that you've been dipping your hands into.
Listen, it worked. I knocked a heavyweight out with a jab, near enough.
Incredible.
Did it work or not?
It did. I remember being in Paris when you called me in the middle of the night. I was trying to get my sleep, and there's you and your dad showing me and proving that you actually got it done, that you're a man of your word.
It worked. It worked, mate. It worked.
Is that your house, by the way? It looks incredible. Is that a compound?
No, that's not my house. That's a hotel. Okay. That was a hotel. Beautiful hotel as well. Very nice hotel.
Could I ask, I know there's a lot has happened since, but just because we didn't get a chance to talk, what were the nerves like? You're fighting in the middle of the night. You're fighting this guy that, it went all wrong just a couple of years prior. How are you feeling? Obviously, it went great, but like just in the build-up that night, how did it go?
Yeah, well, the whole at the time, obviously, you've got to push this all to the side. Being like a high level athlete, like top of the food chain level athlete, all the negative stuff that happens, you've got to kind of get rid of that to a degree. But fighting at like 5:30 a.m. is not something that I'd like to do again if I can help it. Because I just messed the sleep thing up massively. I just messed it up big time. Like I was awake for nearly 24 hours by the time I fought.
Wow.
So that was hard to contend with. And just the occasion for me was massive. Like for people looking in, it was probably just like, yeah, another fight. But to actually like have been and watched every UFC in Manchester and then to defend a title there against a guy who has technically already beat me in front of 25,000 home fans at 5:30 a.m. It was a lot. It was a lot. And to answer the question, the nerves were extremely high.
Wow. GSP-esque? Were you throwing up back there? Like your guy, like your idol? He's told me many times he's thrown up in the locker room.
I wasn't throwing up, but I wasn't far away.
Okay.
But you know, I used to think, right? I used to watch. I used to always watch like when I would be like way before the UFC, even before I was like fighting professionally. I used to watch these guys fighting in the UFC and be like, oh, I'd love to be there because when them guys are fighting, obviously they're not suffering any nerves or they're not scared or anything like that. And then I realized like the more success you have, the more scary it gets every time. Like this thing's tough, man. There's so much weighing on you every single time. There's so much at stake that, yeah, it just doesn't get any easier. But that being said, not everybody can do it. And I'm one of the, I wouldn't say I'm one of the lucky few, because I don't think luck's involved, but I'm one of the few people who makes really, really good decisions under massive, massive pressure. Like I've seen many guys, even like guys fighting on the Contender Series and stuff, and on the local scene and in the gyms and whatnot, they are absolute world beaters. Like they can't be beaten, and then they get the pressure of not even fighting in the UFC, getting a chance to fight in the UFC, and they just completely crumble. So to do it at the top level, fighting for a UFC title in your hometown, that is a pressure that it can't even be described in words, to be honest with you. So I am definitely one of the few that can deal with it really well.
MSG Pavlovich was incredible the moment you were dead, but is it possible, given the history and given where you were, that July, the aftermath felt greater when you won that fight?
That's a tough question, really, because the Pavlovich fight there was just a disaster, in all honesty. So usually I'm like, well, it's heavyweight MMA, first of all, so you never really, really know what's going to happen. But usually I think I've got a good, strong chance of winning. I'm like 80-20 that I'm going to win, probably, every time. But you never know. It's heavyweight MMA, small gloves, massive guys. You never know what's going to happen, really. But I'm usually pretty confident that, look, I'm better than this guy. And when I fought Pavlovich, I definitely was confident that I was better than him. I definitely had a lot of ways to win, and I knew it. But I was ridiculously underprepared for that fight. So, I don't know, that was kind of like, I did expect to win, but I didn't expect to win like that so quickly. So to answer the question, I don't really know. They're both kind of the same. And then the pressure of the Blades thing, fighting at home, defending a title, especially an interim title, is kind of a weird thing that, you know, people were saying that I shouldn't do. So, yeah, but they're both similar, to be honest with you.
I'm not. I promise I'm not trying to take anything away from Bilal. He won that fight fair and square. He looked great. I will forever believe that Leon lost that fight in part because he was fighting at 5:30 in the morning. It was okay for you. You won, but I don't know. I have doubts that the fight goes the same way if it's happening at 1 a.m. or 12:30 as you usually fight. Do you think there's anything to that based on what you saw, based on maybe what you spoke to him about afterwards?
It's very difficult to say, and I think that you, as a media person, and other people in the media would struggle to get that out of him because he doesn't want to make them kind of excuses, and I understand that. But I guess you'd have to speak to him off the record to find out what really went on. But in my opinion, Bilal Muhammad fought absolutely out of his skin in that fight. He looked incredible. I've never seen him fight anywhere near that before. Granted, I've not studied his career at huge length and huge detail, but yeah, Leon looked a little bit off, and Bilal was a little bit on. Like, I would never look at anybody and be like, look, that happened just because of time, because that's unfair to the guy that won. But I think it's fair to say that Leon didn't look himself. But on the flip side of that, Bilal Muhammad looked incredible. So I ain't taking nothing away from him.
That can't happen again, though, right? These 5:30 in the morning cards.
I fucking hope not.
It's not fair to you guys.
I kept telling myself, like, and I think about this a lot when I've got a fight coming up. If I could put myself 10 years ago where I am now, like, I would do anything to be where I am now. Anything that you can even think of. So me complaining about like a time difference or injury or something being inconvenient, like, I try not to let that weigh on my mind too much when it comes to fighting. Like, yeah, it was shit. Yeah, it was inconvenient. But as I said in the build-up, I've got friends literally still to this day who are getting up and working at 5 a.m. every day, every single frigging day, and they don't even like the job. And they're getting up in the cold. They're going on a building site. They're going messing around underneath cars. They're going working in a factory, making money for other people. And I do not have the right to complain about getting up and fighting at 5 a.m. once. Like, I just don't have any right to do it.
That's fair, and much respect. I would say you're just a high-level athlete who deserves a little bit better, but I totally understand where you are coming from, and it's nice to see. Like, even yesterday, you were telling me, I hope you said Monday's your favorite day of the week, and I said to you, you know, you don't usually hear that, but this is just your perspective on life. And actually, I saw a clip. I'm sure you may have seen it or not. It was circulating around the time that you fought, like a young Tom Aspinall talking about that he was going to go to boxing because he felt like boxing was I think it was an interview with IFL TV. Do you know this clip of you in the gym?
Yeah, I do.
I'd never seen this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why? Where did the Because in that clip you're like, I'm going to go to boxing. I'm going to have a career there. I'm going to make more money there. How did you then come back?
Well, it's quite a long story.
Oh, okay. Because
I'll try and put it down for you. So basically, I was like, I'd done MMA and grappling for like most of my life since I was like 8 years old, really. And then I was struggling to. So basically, I was going sparring with like Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury, Tommy Fury, like the Fury family.
Yeah.
There's loads of boxers in the Fury family who are big guys. So I would go down there for a bit of sparring, and I kept having like fights pull out on me, shows cancelled, and etc. etc. So as I was down there, the coach, who's still one of my coaches to this day, Peter Fury, he said, "Why don't you just do boxing for a little bit, get some money?" So I was like, "Yeah, okay, will do." So I got the boxing license, and anyway, after quite a while boxing, even though I only had one fight, I was doing a lot of sparring. It took me a while to get a license, and I was boxing probably all in all about 18 months, 2 years. I just decided, like, shit, I've been grappling for all this time, and I'm just letting it go to waste. And I didn't really, in all honesty, I didn't really love boxing like I love MMA. Like, I absolutely love MMA. Like you said, Monday is my favorite day of the week because I get to drop my kids off at school and go and train. And then I get to come back, chill for a little bit, and then I'll go and train again. And that's just what I love doing. I just absolutely live for making myself a better MMA fighter. I love it. Like, my whole life and circle is surrounded by me being the best version and the best MMA fighter that I can possibly be. And with boxing, it wasn't really like that. I was more just like doing it for kind of something to do and to get as much money as I can rather than getting a normal job. So I believe that MMA is the place that I should have always been.
And it's all coming together, and it's all culminating. And so, can you tell us officially, are you in fact the backup fighter for the title fight at MSG on November 16th? Are you training for this? Will you be here in New York? Have you agreed to this?
Yes, it is official. I mean, Dana announced it a while ago now, but I didn't actually hear anything from the UFC. But now that is a good UFC moves. But now we've actually spoke. Everything's going good. We've come to an agreement about it. We know what's happening going forward. We've got plans. We've got future fight plans. Everything is right there.
Wow.
It's going to be a good couple of years, let me tell you.
Okay, so what do you got? What are the plans? Tell us.
Big plans. Big, massive plans.
Okay, what do we got? Lay it out.
I can't lay out.
Tommy, come on. You've changed. Old Tommy would have told us.
I would if I could.
I know. But is it all coming? Is it? Can you tell me this? Are you happy with what has been laid out in front of you? Because you don't have to be a rocket scientist. And Dana has said it himself. Fight happens November 16th. You're the backup fighter, and he wants the winner to fight you. This is what he has said, and it's right there. There's no other option. Is this what you're hearing as well?
That's what's happening.
Great.
That's what's happening. And we got other options in place too.
Ooh.
In case, one guy wants to retire, one guy wants to continue, both guys want to retire, whatever. We've got all bases covered, luckily.
If both guys retire, are you then the champion? Obviously, right?
We'll find out, Ariel. It's all to be revealed. Okay. It's all to be revealed.
Okay. Obviously, I would imagine, knowing you being the competitor that you are, you want to fight the winner. You want to make this right. You want to rightfully become. Do you think there's a greater chance one guy wins and he fights you as opposed to guy wins and doesn't fight you, and then you're then gifted the belt like Robert Whittaker was after GSP retired?
I think that's probably most likely, yeah.
You think that's what happens?
I think that's most likely. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one of the guys is going to come out, look absolutely fantastic, and think, "Yeah, I'm going to shut this guy up now." Everyone thinks I'm going to lose to Aspinall. I've got to shut him up. Maybe they're going to have a big ego thing, or maybe they're just going to take the money, take what they've done, and just retire. Who knows, man? We have no idea. Me, the UFC, the fans, nobody's got any idea, which is fantastic. That's great. Like, let's get this thing done. Let's get it sewn up, and let's get this division moving and put some big fights on.
Would you be disappointed if it goes down that way? You don't get to fight the winner, and you're just the undisputed champion because that guy walked away.
I would like to fight one of them, of course, but I don't get emotionally attached to business, really. Like, there's stuff that I would rather happen, of course, but I try and emotionally detach myself from business as much as I can. And to me, fighting is the way I make my living. Fighting is the way I feed my family, and I don't think you can get emotional to that. Like, there's some things I prefer than others, yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm here to be the best in the world. I'm here to fight everybody and anybody that they want me to, and I will continue to do that.
Who do you think is going to win, and who do you want to win? Oh, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Where's the audio gone? What's going on?
Do you not hear me? Hello, hello? Frank, we good? Oh, did we lose him? Is my audio still there?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'm not sure what happened there. We were flowing. We almost had a whole show with no technical difficulties that I know of, at least. Is everything okay, Frank?
Yeah, we're just going to get him right back. 1 second.
All right. So you think that was on him?
No. No one's going to tell him that.
All right, just a few more minutes left with Tom Aspinall. Everyone enjoying the new era? Let us know in the chat. Can we get a thumbs up if you're enjoying the new era? And again, we're back tomorrow, and we're back on Wednesday. Give us a thumbs up in the chat. You know, my screen is too bright. My screen is too bright.
Yeah,
I see.
I got you.
Oh,
I got you.
You there? You hear me, Tom?
I've got you.
Oh,
Sorry,
weird.
I don't know what happened then. It just went off.
Weird. Well, we'll only leave you a couple more minutes because I know it's late over there. But can I just ask, who do you think is going to win, and who do you want to win?
John and Stipe?
Yeah.
I would say I would edge towards John, of course, just because he's younger and he's a little bit fresher than Stipe. Like, Stipe, let's be honest, we don't really know where he's at. He's definitely the best heavyweight of all time, but he's also like 42 years old, 43 years old. In the last fight, he got knocked out, which was like 3 or 4 years ago now. We have no idea what he's going to look like. I have no idea. Whereas John, even though he's been pretty inactive, he has fought recently, and he looked pretty good in the fight. So I would give the edge to John, but it is heavyweight MMA. You absolutely never know, and that's why this sport is so damn exciting. So I would say probably 60-40 to John, yeah.
Did you see when he did that interview recently saying, this could be my last one? Do you think he's just messing around? He's just trying to rile you up, or do you believe him?
I have no idea. The guys are seems a little bit weird to me. I don't know.
Why do you think he's weird?
Because we're talking about John. Like, I think it's pretty obvious.
He wrote.
There's been some stuff that he's done over the years that isn't normal behavior.
I don't know what you're talking about, but he did write this on I think your Instagram. This dude literally has my large blank in his mouth every week talking about you. I'm flattered. I absolutely guarantee he will not win more world championships than me. That's truly all that matters at the end of the day. There's been many champions. No one like me. I sleep good at night. You saw this?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I don't want to win as many championships as him. I just want to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That's all.
You don't want to break his record?
Don't care. I want to make as much money as I can in the shortest amount of time possible, and then bounce and do something else. I don't want to get out of this sport healthy. So once I've done what I want to do, I'll be done. I've got no interest in being the best heavyweight ever and fighting into my 40s. No interest at all in it.
Do you have a date or an age? Some say 35, 40, 38.
I don't know. I think you got to say how it's going and how you feel. Right now, I feel amazing. I feel on top of the world. I feel like the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth, and that I'm head and shoulders skill-wise above anybody else in the division. Is how I honestly feel right now. So right now, I have no thoughts about stopping, but I don't know how I'm going to feel in the future. You can't say.
We had Francis at the top of the show, and I asked him, who's the best heavyweight in MMA right now? Probably not to your surprise, he said myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'd ask you the same question. I'd imagine you think yourself.
Yeah, but I have a lot of respect for Francis. I have a lot of respect for him, and I really appreciate his story. I really appreciate what he's done in the sport. But it's hard to debate right now. Like, the guy who's fighting, he's not elite. Do you know what I mean? And the guys he'll be fighting in the future aren't elite. And it's as simple as that. Like, these aren't the best guys in the world. Like, the guy who's fighting fought a friend of mine and a training partner of mine, Ante Delia, last year, and Ante just destroyed him within a minute or two. Took him down, ground and pounded him, and stopped him within the first minute. And now this guy's fighting Francis Ngannou. So the guy isn't elite, his opponent. Yeah, he's big. Yeah, he's powerful. Yeah, he could knock you out, but he's not an elite heavyweight. I'm not disrespecting him, but that's just the honest opinion.
Yeah.
The elite guys are not in PFL. The elite guys are in the UFC. So, like I said, I've got a lot of respect for Francis and his story and what he's done in the sport and what he did in boxing even. But it's difficult to say that he's the best heavyweight in the world when he isn't fighting elite guys right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. He's not a top 10 guy. It's as simple as that right now.
The guy's nowhere near top 10, mate, who he's fighting. Yeah, he's a big dude, big athletic guy, but he's not a top 10 guy. Yeah, you're right.
What does your gut tell you as you gear up? You're going to do a full training camp, yeah? You're gonna pretend like you're. Do you think you fight on November 16th? It's not a crazy question, right? It didn't material. It was around this time, maybe in a couple of weeks. Like it was 2 weeks out, right? That Stipe was left with no opponent when John got hurt. So what is your gut telling you? Do you think you fight in New York in a month?
My gut's telling me no, to be honest. But that being said, I will be ready to fight. You ain't catching me not ready again, ever. We almost already had that banana skin when I fought Pavlovich because I wasn't ready for that fight. Now I'm in full-blown training camp. I got sparring partners here. I'm all ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm fit, ready. I will be ready on November 16th if I need to be. Do I think it's going to happen? Is it likely? In my opinion, probably not. Anyone can say what they want, but I personally, my gut feeling is that it won't happen. But will I be ready? Absolutely. And will I fight if they need me to fight? On 5 minutes notice, I will fight any of them guys.
Wow. And is it hard to prepare for two guys for a fight that you don't think is going to happen? Is that weird?
No, I'm training like it's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not training like, oh, this is not going to happen. We'll just take it easy today or whatever. Like I said, I've got sparring partners here. Flown in. High-level guys, ready to go. But like you say, I can't prepare for one guy. But I'm getting myself as fit and as strong as I possibly can within the next 5 weeks. And I've already done 4 or 5 weeks training as it is. Hard training as well. I train every day anyway, but I mean, hard training twice a day, going at it, preparing my body and mind for the fight. I'm already doing that. So I'm prepared for a million fights at this point. I know what it takes to prepare for a fight. So no, it's not difficult. But tactically, would I like one guy to train for? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I would. It'd be silly not to, but I don't have that luxury right now.
Is that something like, does your dad sit down with you and say okay, today we're doing Stipe work, today we're doing, because they're two different people, right? Different fighters, different styles. Do you actually specifically game plan for them, or are you just kind of doing general training?
No, we just got to, I think that's really difficult to do that. My dad is sticking stuff in. My dad, by the way, obviously, he's not got a whole massive stable of fighters, but the fighters he works with are absolutely elite, and the results speak for himself. He's one of the best MMA coaches out there. Mm-hmm. He might not have a massive team, but the guy is ridiculously smart when it comes to MMA. But yeah, we're adding stuff in that both guys are good at, and we're trying to prepare for it, obviously. But it's difficult when there's two guys. It's really difficult.
You will be coming to New York.
Yeah.
We would love to have you at the new studio. Would be nice.
Well, invite me in. What day are you still doing? Mondays and Wednesdays, or what days are you doing?
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Well, no way.
Could you believe that? We're working 3 days plus the boys in the back. Your boy Conor and New York Rick, they have their own show on Thursdays, and you would never believe it, Tommy. The great Pete Carroll, who I do think is a favorite of your father's, if I'm being honest. He now has his show officially as part of our Uncrowned empire on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock in the UK. Could you believe that? Every day we have a show now.
Let me tell you, Pete Carroll is the only media member that my father will ever speak to.
Wow.
I don't know why.
He loves him.
They love each other. It's fantastic. I love Pete Carroll also. So big shout out to Pete. I don't know, I might swerve your show and do Connor's and New York Rick's instead.
Wow.
Never done that, so.
They would love that.
Now we're talking, Tommy.
They might appreciate me a bit more.
That's crazy. That is, it killed me. I woke up, I don't know how these European fans do it. I woke up, I was struggling more than you were out there, waking up in Paris at 5 in the morning to watch you fight. 6 in the morning because they're an hour ahead. It was awful. I don't know how fans do it. I have so much respect for the European fans, how they follow the sport each and every week. They're staying up till 5 in the morning watching these Apex cards, for goodness sakes. It's tough. It's not easy.
It's not. It's crazy guys. I ain't doing it.
It's awful.
I'm definitely not doing it. Fair play. If you are doing it, thank you for doing it. Thanks for supporting our sport, but I ain't that dedicated. I watch the big ones.
Well, you've got to get to bed, Tom. It's way too late for you. You've got training in the morning. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to end today's first ever episode with you, the real heavyweight champion of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I say that. People get mad at me when I say it, but I believe it. You have more wins at heavyweight.
People get mad whatever you say. Don't worry about that. But
I don't even think it's a hot take, Tom. You have more wins against more quality opponents. I mean, it's like, it doesn't even make sense, but we're not going to... Everything will be rectified, I think, in very short order. And I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you buying the merch. I gave you the code, 100% off, but you wanted to do it, and that means a lot. And I will now... I love Dos Brock. I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm now going to get that one because that's great stuff. That's well done on your part. Is it a 50-50 split? What are we talking revenue-wise? You don't have to share. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I hope he's taking care of you, though.
He's taking care of me. We're all taking care of each other in this game. That's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about.
Oh, guess who just messaged me? Yeah, Pete Carroll.
What do you say?
I'm not telling you. That's between me and Pete, but he's the top man. I like you very much.
The cheeky. He's probably sitting in his chair right now. Pete, is Pete even there? He's right. Yeah. Look at this fucking guy. He's right.
What's going on?
He just... There he is. I told you. He's a part of the show now. He's now on the show.
My God. I didn't know he was like that. I didn't know he's actually
What's the crack, Tom?
online. He's ready to talk. He's got a microphone and everything.
He's just ready. He's ready to go.
How are you, bud?
That is fantastic.
Can you hear him? He just said, "How are you?"
No, I didn't hear anything. Sorry.
PT, can you...
The audio's failing. I mean, can people not hear me now?
Got you, mate. I like the beard. Big
Do
fan.
you think so? Yeah, Ariel's been giving me a lot of shit about it, to be honest, Tom.
Oh, it's all right. Looks good.
It looks like he's...
Now, if it was bad, he'd go in. He would have went in bad there if it was going to be...
I think he looks fantastic. It looks like he just had a nice 48-hour bender. He looks great.
That's true as well. That is a fact. Both are real.
PT, before we let Tom, any response to what he said about his father only talking to you and you being his favorite media member?
Well, he's my favorite as well. He's a fantastic guy. He's actually turning people away now, Tom, isn't he? I mean, there's lads trying to train with you guys, and he's having to say, I can't actually have you. He's zoning in more on you as far as I know, as more people look to join Team BFG.
So it's not called Team BFG for a start, but...
Team BFG, that's a great name, man.
The first bit of the statement was all right. I'm not sure about the last bit, but yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of big guys. We've got a lot of big guys in there already. We don't need any more.
Well, this is amazing. Now PT's going to claim that Tom Aspinall was on the crack. This is not your interview, PT, okay? So stop hijacking.
We're just going to copy and paste the interview and then put me in instead of you, and then everyone will be happy.
Tom, you're a gent. You're salt of the earth. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you and looking forward to seeing you here in New York. Don't say goodbye so quickly. Jeez, it sounds like you look at those fingers.
You know, my wife's always saying that to me. She's always like, when I'm on the phone and then people do that, bye thing.
Yeah, let it linger a little bit.
I literally just go, like, when the sentence is over, I'm just like, bye, boom, cut them off every time.
Just pretend like you had a good time. You let it linger.
It's a lovely time, but we don't have to drag it on.
All right.
It's done. Cut it off.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on my show, Tom.
There he is. Wow, that was incredible. That's a highlight right there. He mentions PT Carroll, and there's PT just showing up.
He summoned me.
You're some kind of piss, PT Carroll, I tell you that. What about that? I mean, that's amazing.
I love that one.
That's incredible. Got a little note here from Ant Evans. More than half of the fans in the chat who have been on fire today. Thank you very much. I saw the thumbs up come in there. More than half of the fans in the chat think neither Jones nor Miocic will actually fight Tom as an injury replacement. Over 85% feel he is the real heavyweight champion. Ant's been on fire, by the way, with the polls and everything. So thank you very much to him for all the hard work. And that's actually, by the way, PT, that's actually a really interesting thing. I didn't even think of that. If one of the guys withdraws, and I think that they are obviously preparing, and I feel like the fight happens, I guess there's a chance that one of them says, thanks, but no thanks, I'm out.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that's what will happen.
You feel this is happening? Or if it comes to that?
If it comes to that, I feel like that's what will happen. Like, you only have to listen to what Jones has been saying. Like, he has made no positive kind of acknowledgement of wanting to fight Tom. So, yeah, I think that's, even if that happens, we hear something pulls out on fight week, I feel like that's just the beginning of a saga that will unfold over the next few days. Like, will it actually happen?
I think John is trolling him when he does that.
I hope so, because I'd love to see the fight. Like, I mean, that's a tremendous fight. It's nearly taken the mantle that was Ngannou v. Jones.
Yeah.
It's now Jones v. Aspinall. Like, which is a good thing for the UFC, right? When Ngannou goes to PFL, that conversation quickly gets taken over by Aspinall and Jones. But the only problem is they can't make either of them happen. So, I mean, that's a bit of an issue.
What is not an issue, I don't know if you've noticed, but the sun is setting a little bit in New York, and you can see behind
the window.
You can see behind me. It's getting a little darker, is it not? I was not lying.
The way windows work like that. Isn't
There
it?
it is. Look, it's a little cloudy. What about this set, huh, PT? We've come a long way. We need to work on that.
It's exactly the same as the last one, yeah. Like,
oh
let's be
wow.
honest.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, you said you weren't going to say that on the air.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, there's some differences. The desk is smaller, which I like, which makes it more intimate. Need to work on this Dan Hooker skateboard that keeps falling.
It's fallen 3 times, I believe.
Yeah, and it makes a loud.
You would think that after the first time you would have just left
No,
it on
I
the
wanted
ground.
it.
Yeah.
I wanted it up there. But nevertheless, there's a big football game coming up tonight, which we have to get ready for. A lot of traffic around MetLife, so we need to be cognizant of that. And I do want to remind you that we're back tomorrow, and we're back on Wednesday, and the boys in the back here on Thursday, and then PT on Friday, all at 1 p.m. Eastern. And it's amazing looking at this. It's amazing taking it all in, because not that long ago, I might be getting ahead of ourselves here. I don't know if we have that. I didn't look at the thing. Oh, do we have that or no? The picture that I asked you for, Rick, or no?
No.
Okay. I was going to do a whole shebang.
It's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. That was louder than the other times.
It's tough.
That is tough. That is also louder. But overall, I think everything went pretty well, right? I mean, considering the fact that 35 minutes before the show, 2 of our cameras weren't working, I'd say we landed the plane at this point, right, Frank?
Oh, wow.
No?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was a good show, man.
Yeah, your mic sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds better than it did this morning.
Are we wrapping up? It sounds like we're wrapping up.
Yes, kind of. I mean, what else? Is there anything else?
I feel like there is one more thing. There's something
Oh, geez.
that I feel like would be appropriate to kind of like celebrate
Oh,
the
geez.
end of this.
I don't like surprises. Is there surprises?
There's a little bit of a surprise.
Is someone gonna walk in with a belt?
No, nobody's gonna walk in with a belt. We can do one better.
Oh God. DJ.
Champ! Alexa. My man Ariel Helwani, want to wish you nothing but the best. I'm not gonna wish you the best. I know you're gonna fucking kill it. You are the best in the business. I was gonna show my support. Helwani knows. I'm super excited for you to be able to go off on your own, to be able to own your own content as I am on that journey right now. You've always been a big inspiration to me. And I appreciate you believing in me and my skill set and also the content that I am creating. As you always know, if there's anything you ever need, do not hesitate to reach out to your boy. Like you said, man, when you come shooting for the king, make sure you don't miss. Oos.
Dion Dawkins here from the Buffalo Bills. I want to say congratulations to the huge launch of the Helwani Show. You already know it's your boy.
Dion Dawkins?
Knock him dead.
Of the
dude,
Pablo.
What you have done
What the fuck is this, guy?
Legitimately inspiring and incredibly impressive and jealousy-inducing. Congratulations
Pablo's a
on
man.
being, and this is a thing that Dan says, I co-sign it, an actual pioneer in this industry. You deserve everything. Congrats.
Wow.
Congratulations, brother Helwani, on the new endeavor.
This
and
is
all the boys over there. Yahoo, Uncrowned.
Bam, bam.
It's fucking going down.
The fuck?
Love you guys.
Oh my God, I love Bam Bam.
You may ask yourself, why is this asshole wearing sunglasses indoors? And it's because everything that Ariel Helwani is doing is way too bright for my eyes. It's incandescent. I cannot handle what it feels like to be in the shadow of all his empire building. I am presently in a bomb shelter just because he's making so many explosions in the sports media world. Congratulations to La Nariz. La Nariz keeps getting bigger.
Grande.
All right, Bert, what is it? Are we saying vertical? Do we say vertical? He's calling this thing a vertical. Hey, Ariel, congrats, buddy.
Oh my God.
There's congrats on the vertical.
This is.
Does this seem sincere? I don't even know what he's doing. Is this? Let's just do another one. Ariel, I hear everything's going great, man. I know you got the new launch. Looking forward to seeing you succeed before being fired again. Good luck on the thing you're doing for now. Before the next thing that I'll congratulate you on, because you're not doing this thing anymore.
Wow.
Is that Ariel? Chill. Congrats, I guess. What? I don't. Okay. one more. Hey, Ariel. Glad everything's going well, buddy. If I can ever be part myself, I'd love to join you over there.
Oh.
I don't want to be. I don't want to. All right, let's just do one last one. Ariel, congratulations on everything. I got to tell you, I'm not surprised. I think that covers it.
What's up, Ariel? I'm in Greensboro, heading back to California.
Wow.
I wanted to make sure that I sent you a big congratulations
in the
on
car,
launching Uncrowned and keeping the Ariel Helwani Show going. It's been a staple of this.
Come on, join us.
Community for a really long time. You are the best reporter in MMA, hands down, man, and I'm glad that you continue to benefit from your hard work, and I know you're going to do a tremendous job. So, congrats,
DC,
my
corporate
friend.
DC.
You're winning. You just keep winning.
Oh my God, I'm emotional right here. How did you guys pull that off? That's some big guns right there.
I mean, how about that?
Yo, that was incredible.
We called in some favors. We sent some text messages.
Fucking hell.
I gotta say, I gotta give credit to Jordan, who
I was just about to say, who's the we? This was all Rick and Jordan.
Wow. Thank you, guys. I see, the problem with me is when I see things like that, then I'm like, oh, were they bothered? Were they annoyed? Now I feel guilty. Now I have to text them a thank you. And I feel like I'm not worthy of this type of love.
But this is friends, you know? You're amongst friends.
I got to say, how did you get Dion Dawkins? Like, I know all those people.
We had to buy DC, we had to pay for his cameo.
Yeah, I 1,000% believe that.
We had to pay for the cameo. But those are the friends.
Fucking hell, that was amazing.
But I feel like it wouldn't be complete if we didn't. If we didn't bring in the family.
Oh, stop. Don't do the family.
Hi, my name is Liv. I'm 5 years old.
and then God's knees.
Oh my God.
And then I wish you good luck. And I love you very much.
That's my.
Hi, Ariel.
Oh my God.
Just wanted to congratulate you on the launch of your new
he
MMA
reading?
show with Yahoo. We've always
My old
been
man.
so proud of you, not just for what you've accomplished in your
He's
career,
reading.
but
He's
for the
reading.
passion and
That's
dedication you bring to everything you do. From watching you
without
grow
my
up,
father, I have
loving
nothing.
sport, to now becoming one of the most respected voice in MMA. It's been such an incredible journey.
Oh God.
This new chapter is so exciting, and we know that you're going to make it amazing, just like everything you've done before. We love you so much, and we'll be cheering you on every step of the way. Congratulations
must have worked hard
again.
on
Love
this.
you.
Oh, I love you.
This is Mama Nose.
Mama Nose.
Congratulations, Ariel,
Oh
on your new
gosh.
job.
Now you're gonna make me cry.
To know how proud I am of you for reaching this exciting milestone, and I can't wait to see all the great things you'll accomplish.
Without them, I'm
Good luck
nothing.
to you, and I love you
Interview
very
skills
much.
from Mom.
Hi, Ariel. We just wanted to say how proud we are of you and good luck on your new show. We love you. It's been an amazing journey, and you and your team should be so proud of yourselves, and we can't wait to see where you guys go on this next chapter.
I predict the show will be amazing.
Oh my God.
And a lot of people will watch it and enjoy it.
I hope so.
Good luck. Good luck on your new show. We love you.
The boys really meant it.
The lads are waiting
best. The best.
there. Legends.
You're going to do it.
Claire melts your heart and then just good luck.
Man. Why? Ah, that was incredible.
That was amazing.
Did Jordan get those too?
Yeah. Jordan did it all, if we're being honest. Jordan did this by himself.
Jordan actually just showed up today with all
these
things.
things. we? Is that it?
That's
Please.
it.
Thank God.
Now we're actually done.
Now it's the strangers.
We did it. Congratulations on the launch.
No,
We're
congratulations
happy
to
be a
you
part
guys.
of it.
I
It's
still
for random people on the street.
I still wanted to talk about Tatsuro Taira and Brandon Roy.
It was a great fight. It was a great fight. Yeah, I mean, if you're really chomping on the bit, we got we had a super chat from Jason Carney asking for fight news for Jessica Rose Clark. So I know you're dying to.
Oh
I believe
wow!
It's champing at the bit.
It is champing at the bit. Someone actually told me recently that was like a big pet peeve. Notice how the sun now changed. You saw that?
Is that a real window?
Yeah.
The way a window works is truly incredible.
Just anything to divert and avoid the emotions that just
1000%.
Now that we've already
Let's not address that. Let's just.
That's reminiscent of what you and Andy Mayer did for UFC 300.
Yeah,
Not
that's
UFC 300. Episode 300.
Episode 300. A throwback to that. But yes, Jordan, start to finish killed that. So shout out.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all very much. I don't have any news on Jessica Rose Clark. She's over there though. You can see her right there. She's on the set. Man of my word. Man of my word. Yeah, it's been a great day, and we get to do this tomorrow. What do you got? What are the plans? Do we get to stay? Do we stay in? Do we
We're
go
doing
home?
one tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm verklempt. PT, who do you have on the show Friday? Have you done it yet, or what? Can you get on
We
that?
got Paul Hughes. I went down to Belfast.
Ah,
up
there it is.
Up to
Perfect.
Belfast. Went to a different country to secure an interview for the show.
Oh, perfect.
So it went. It's Paul Hughes, and it should be the great Dan Hardy.
Oh, lovely.
On for this show.
It's a
no,
big
pretty good.
weekend. There it is.
We'll be having a preview for the Paul Hughes interview with Pete Carroll on Boys in the Back on Thursday.
It's a lot. It's
Get
a
you
lot
ready
of
for
PT
that.
Carroll on the show. Yeah,
Get you ready for that Paul Hughes interview on Friday.
Amazing. Amazing.
Me? I mean, we've got some pretty important things to do tonight with this fancy.
I was going to
football
say, you
team,
keep
lads.
talking about Jordan's got his Jets fandom. You got the Bills fandom. The fantasy football team is on the line tonight. We got Josh Allen and James Cook, and the people we're playing, the Cooligans, have two
come
Jets.
on. We're
Garrett Wilson and Bryce Hall.
Yeah. It's Bills versus Jets in fantasy
And
football
Kincaid.
too.
They've got Kincaid as well.
What's the score? What's the score?
82 to 80 right now. Our way.
We're good.
We're projected 113. They're projected 112. Me and Pete will be texting it out. My thumbs will hurt by the end of the evening.
We're good.
It's an emotional few weeks, like 2 losses in a row. Really
There's a
need to
big
bounce
difference
back
between 4-2 and 3-3. I'll tell you that much.
Massive.
And
massive. I'm
Ocean's
losing
apart.
I
We're
probably,
losing the
I
locker
probably
room.
should have put this on, not on the headphone. But yes, speaking of the Buffalo Bills, thank you so much to my friends at the Bills for giving me this. I screwed this up
Wow,
big time.
dude, we just got
it's a
you that
disaster,
microphone.
We told you not to move.
Look at that. Do you see it? Can you see it now?
Yeah, we see it.
We see it. Like, what is that, 8-point font?
It says the Ariel Helwani Show. It was a long message. It was a long name, all right? 24 for 2024. The new era is here. No better time than now to launch this. And I'm so happy that this first episode is in the books and that we get to do it all tomorrow. Frank, I've been waiting to say this since 1:01 p.m. Eastern Time. You get my music.
About the...
There is no music. Okay, Jesus. By the way, you joke, but a little hot now with the music, or
just in your can?
God, I thought you meant in there for a second.
No, I mean,
like, wow, they really warmed it up.
No, I'm one step away from hypothermia. You see the.
This is your flu game.
This is no, not the flu game.
Doing
it's just
a show in 74-degree.
There have been times where, like, we had Paulo Costa in studio and he was legit sweating, like it was like pouring off of him. Remember that time?
Yeah, and then Frank had to come in and stick a microphone right on his chest.
And then...
sweaty chest.
Oh yeah, those were the days. I like it hot. I don't know. David Letterman historically has always had his studio at like legit 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the thing, and they said it was the equipment. He likes it. I like it toasty. I think that you're at your best when you're hot. You know, I'm a warm-blooded Middle Eastern man, and so yeah, that's the way I like it. But I'm happy that this episode is in the books. Thank you very much to everyone who has worked so hard. Not easy. There was once a time not that long ago where this studio was just a green screen, and we've come a very long way. Although this is all real, by the way. This isn't a green screen, but there was one here before. So thank you to every single person out there who has made this happen. Go check out uncrowned.com. Please subscribe to the show. Press the subscribe button, the channel, hit the like, all that stuff. Go subscribe to all the feeds on social. Thank you to the crew back there. I can't thank them enough. Thank you to everyone at Yahoo. Thank you to everyone in my life who helped make this happen. And thank you to all our guests who joined us today. Thank you to all of you. I love you all. Back tomorrow, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.